And this was and either way, even if there was any good intent as far as principle goes, she's not stupid. She knows that how they're going to respond. She knows what the headlines are going to be the next day. And we told you guys, of course, it's red versus blue. It's those darn Democrats. I was going to play a clip of Stephen A. I'm not even, guys. It's like you have people going, come on, Dems, you got to do better. You got to stand up. Don't let Trump make you look like a fool. And it's like they're all playing the role they're supposed to play to keep us in this like team huddle, right? So like Steve
tribal mentality. Yeah, keep us in the tribal mentality.
Tribal mentality.
They're tribalists.
They are tribalists because if they really wanted to have apply critical thinking here, they'd be talking about this moment. This is probably the most telling moment of the whole thing. You want to talk about when Democrats actually did stand up? Well, they stood up when it was time to talk about war. And listen to how Trump gets them to stand up. He breaks it down the way you've seen every administration. This is not unique about Trump. Every administration has done this our entire lifetimes. He just does it with a little more oomph. He's actually pretty good at this. But this is why you got him in there, because he's a game show host who had the #1 show on TV. Don't forget that. He knows how to make a moment. He knows
You're fired.
You're fired. Yeah, exactly.
You're fired.
Here it is. This is the moment they all actually stood.
Side And just over the last couple of months with the protests, they've killed at least, it looks like, 32,000 protesters.
Just to be clear, he's not talking about ICE protests. He's talking about Iran. Those are the protesters that we care about. We're going to go help them. We're going to help them with their protest. F everyone in Minneapolis. Just wanted to make that.
If you're an anti-ICE protester, in fact, they're reporting you. The DHS is getting information, data on you from Google, Facebook. It's worse.
It's worse.
They're putting you on the domestic terrorist list, not fucking protecting you.
And it's even worse than that, because the protesters he's talking about are actually Mossad agents infiltrating Iranians. So the whole thing is,
we know this from Pompeo.
The whole thing is okay. But anyways, this is the thing. This is the thing.
Look at his face here.
I mean, out of everything, guys, just really think about this while you're watching this. I know if you've seen this before, but with this in mind, that this complete BS line about what we're going to be doing in Iran, this is the moment they stand. Shouldn't this have been the moment that they yelled out, "How dare you? How dare you?"
Like that be Ilhan Omar, why wouldn't she yell out if Donald Trump was trying to end the Ukraine war? She's supporting it. So it's like, where would she picks and chooses?
She picks and chooses.
She wants to be a hero and have principles. Please.
Okay, here we go. Your big moment. This is your ratings moment, Trump. Here we go.
32,000 protesters in their own country.
Oh, for clarity, he just said that Iran has killed 3,200 protesters in their country. He just said that number. We're going to get to that
in their own country.
He just said that because he said it. But here, this is part of the buildup, right? It's the flash. It's the Kazam, right? Here it is.
They shot him and hung him. We stopped them from hanging a lot of them with the threat of serious violence. But this is some terrible people. They've already developed missiles that can threaten Europe and our bases overseas, and they're working to build missiles that will soon reach the United States of America. After Midnight Hammer, they were warned to make no future attempts to rebuild their weapons program, and in particular, nuclear weapons. Yet they continue, starting it all over. We wiped it out, and they want to start all over again, and are at this moment again pursuing their sinister ambitions. We are in negotiations with them. They want to make a deal, but we haven't heard those secret words. We will never have a nuclear weapon. My preference.
Oh, yeah. Come together right now. There they are. Look at Elizabeth Warren up there. See that in blue? She's standing up.
My preference is to solve this problem through diplomacy. But one thing is certain, I will never allow the world's #1 sponsor of terror, which they are by far, to have a nuclear weapon. Can't let that happen.
Wow. There we are. Hand up the APAC flag. There they are. Look at that. Look at the whole. Wow.
And no nation should ever doubt America's resolve. We have the most powerful military on earth.
Yeah. Okay. And again, historical context, a little flashback to 2015, the moment that I believe Trump dominated the Republican Party and he knocked everybody off the stage. And this
South
is where
Carolina.
This is major moment in Republican
Did I
politics.
guess right?
You guessed it. This is right to Jeb Bush.
I couldn't believe he said this stuff.
So
the Bush family was in the front row.
So all you MAGAs out there, don't forget this. This is something you need to hold your leader accountable for, because this is what got him in the first place. 2015. Here we go. 10 years ago. More than 10 years ago.
In Iraq, we spent $2 trillion, thousands of lives. We don't even have it. Iran is taking over Iraq with the second largest oil reserves in the world. Obviously, it was a mistake. So George Bush made a mistake. We can make mistakes, but that one was a beauty. We should have never been in Iraq. We have destabilized the Middle East.
But so you still think he should be impeached?
I think it's my turn, isn't it?
You do whatever you want. You call it whatever you want. I want to tell you, they lied.
Okay.
They said there were weapons of mass destruction. There were none, and they knew there were none. There were no weapons of mass destruction.
All right.
There were no nuclear weapons in Iran, but yeah, he did. It's where's that rhetoric? This is the Donald Trump that is no longer here. That was never there. They just lied in moments like this to get him in office so he can do what he was intended to do.
Yeah, I cannot believe the difference of this character. It's complete makeover, and you don't hear too many MAGAs talking about this part of it. I know a lot of them, and it's good for them for saying, you know what, this isn't what I voted for, but keep this reference, guys. That was a completely different person on that stage. He was fired up. He said, we're not falling for this.
They lied. Yeah. They knew they didn't have it. It was like, I've been waiting for somebody in the Democratic leadership to say something like that towards a Republican for God knows how long. Yeah. That could never happen. That's why we thought he was an outsider, the same way we thought Obama was an outsider. It looks like this guy's trying to get in.
Well, let's do that. Let's do that. Okay. Since we're talking, let's go ahead and expand the conversation right now. We're going to go ahead, check in with our correspondent today. You know him. It's Don DeBar. Here we go. We love you, man. Here you are. Thanks, Don. Was he looking to get in? Yeah. You ready? You ready for the conversation?
I got promoted to correspondent.
You got promoted to correspondent.
Yes, I am.
You've been giving us some great work. I want to let the viewers know. Don't know you've been doing great work. Ever since we started up our show, you've been giving us some very thoughtful commentary on the ground reporting. I know you covered the RNC last year for us, and we did some. And I think you and I, Don, we did some real time coverage back during the Trump assassination, the ear moment. We said, hey, you want to come on and let's talk about this. Yeah, that was cool. So I always appreciate you ready to chime in and give us your analysis because that's what we appreciate here. Great conversation. So and welcome to the Homeless Left again. Don,
thanks. Hey guys.
Yes. Hey, so looking at that, I don't expect you watched the entire marathon of the speech, but if you looked at anything stuck out for you about that and the fact that when Trump is bringing this Iran discussion to the table, he's talking to the whole room. This is the one moment where they're all in agreement on. So everybody on the mainstream talking about the Dems didn't stand for this and they messed up that way and Trump didn't get credit. All of that seems garbage compared to the fact that the moment that they all get up in unison and say bomb Iran. Is that the most concerning part for you, Don? I'm just going to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, well, first I didn't watch it. I never do. That's not unusual. It's it's sort of like a political highlight. The event of the year for the political party that has the White House, and for the people who play whatever games they do in alleged opposition. So Trump is going to say red, white, and blue, and the opposition is going to say. Well, they're not going to say red, black, and green, that's for sure. But they'll say like, orange, yellow, and purple or something. Things that are completely inane, and they'll fight with each other over these things. Omar will bring somebody from Minnesota. Trump will code some racist bullshit to, whatever support he's trying to hang on to. The Democrats will pretend that they're anti-racist. They'll have, some of the worst people in the world to use as examples in various shades of human skin as spokespeople to claim the mantle of being anti-racist as they both march towards the most racist imperialist policies around the world, upping the military budget in tandem one year after another, going back as far as you can see to 250 years. I mean, the United States is only as old as 232 years, I guess, 1790 or whenever the Constitution became effective, 1789, 1790. But even before that, from 1776, you had a military that just has grown every year in scope, territory that's grown in every year in every way, and war making that's been more or less uninterrupted. Very little of that discussed last evening from the transcript that I read, but I do know from the video I saw here and elsewhere that there was certainly unity across the board whenever they talked about making more war.
Yeah.
So I've been watching, talking to people, in other places in Tehran, for example, and elsewhere, what's developing, on the ground in these places, and the conversation that's been going on is good. Excuse me, the fact that it's a conversation, in other words, if not the content or the context of the conversation. In other words, the United States claiming that Iran has and wants to develop nuclear weapons so they can deliver it to the shores of the United States and actualize death to America, which is the current tome AIPAC selling and others. This is complete and total bullshit, we know, of course. In fact, the people of Iran, including their government, swear up and down that their religion doesn't allow them to even manufacture nuclear weapons. So I don't know what kind of a bond you would want from someone in addition to that in the form of a treaty or something, when already they say God won't let us do it, so we're not doing it. Trump disregards totally the fact that the government has been saying from the get-go, we're not after developing nuclear weapons. Our technology does not allow us to build it, and we're not developing a technology that will. We're developing a technology for nuclear power like everyone else, which is entirely legal, entirely allowed, and we haven't signed away anything to the contrary except what you keep making us sign at gunpoint. Yeah. We're watching what's going on still around Ukraine. Whoever it is that actually runs the U.S. government and the EU and Japan and occupied Korea and wherever the hell else you want to look that these creeps, are sucking the blood from. The entire shift in the locus of military challenge to Russia and Ukraine is developing. These people have the U.S. as one piece, the EU as another. If Trump is there right now and he won't send the military in or blow stuff up in Russia or whatever overtly and try to stand down the Russian government, then we've got a half a dozen pipsqueaks in Europe that'll do that on command. So they're working on that. I'm watching the war develop in each of these theaters that are going to make World War II look like theater. And I could honestly, I'll use a legal term here, I can honestly give a flying fuck about the State of the Union address or about most of the other circuses that are going on here. The policies that Trump and his administration and the Congress and their compromises, by the way, are bringing, to cause further pain across the United States and elsewhere. They're simply another step in a long progression of this stuff. If you use what metric do you want to use? Home ownership as a measure of, the class construction in the United States. So, when you had a claim for a long time, and even scientists, Marx and others, they also describe things in these terms, that you had, the poor, quote unquote, the working class, the middle class, and the upper middle class and upper class, all of that. I guess they're sort of the capitalist version of caste system or something that we've seen over the history of the world. Completely wiped out, in stages. You had, say, in the 50s or 60s or whatever, the evidence of a strong and vibrant middle class, quote unquote. That's the term they used to use, among others, and the opportunity, the upward mobility that was available to the poor and working class to move into the middle class, which was expanding and sooner or later would accommodate everyone that wanted to join. The primary marker of that was home ownership, that you own a piece of land that you can live on and a home that you can retire to and protect you from the elements, create your life and your own environment, etc. It's the fullest expression of non-collective democracy that you could have in a culture. That was kind of how it was sold. Yeah. Well, a lot more has been sold since then. The equity that people had in those homes has pretty much evaporated, with the exception of about 10% of the members that held that before. People would buy a house and have a 15 or 20-year mortgage, and then they would pay it off and they would own their home free. The kids would inherit the house. They'd start building from there. And that went on for a few generations. It did not grow fast enough across the board in terms of bringing everyone into it, but it was expanding, and there were programs that people lobbied for and obtained to expand it even faster. FHA, VA, and other loan programs, for example. All of that is long gone. Vanguard, BlackRock, a zillion other constructs of NewCo and others that take foreclose and trade in foreclosed and distressed properties. Local municipalities' budgets being stressed from the outside by declining state and federal revenues, rely on property taxes, placing home ownership out of the hands of people who are living in their homes. This is one element of a war that's on the working class and of the people of the United States inside the empire at the home office that's been ongoing without let up since 1945. Yeah. So Trump is merely the latest guy there, and whatever they do with him, which is the reason I don't join in the chorus of voices to push him out, is whoever they got in there. Next, we get under the existing constitutional order, if you want to laughingly call it that, we get J.D. Vance. I don't know who voted for J.D. Vance ever. I mean, did he ever actually run for office? I don't know. Okay, so he gets to be president of the United States. Maybe there's a million people you could think of, if you had a million names, who might be more qualified for that. Actually, if you had 500,000 names, you'd have a million more people that would be qualified than he. But that's where our
just to be clear about J.D. Vance, he was not selected by Trump. If people think that that's what the president does, he says, who should I choose? That's not a thing. That's not a thing. We know that Dick Cheney
was selected by Peter Thiel.
Yeah, he was selected by Peter Thiel. We know that this goes way back. Dick Cheney selected himself for George W.
He selected Bush.
Yeah, right. He selected. Yeah, he selected.
Bush was his beard.
And then you have Joe Biden. This stupid idea that he got. I remember Michael Moore pushing this when it was Biden. Oh, I can imagine it now. Oh, Joe Biden gives Kamala Harris a call by the fireplace at night. He goes, Kamala, we've had our differences, but can we team up? And no, none of that. That never happens. It's not a thing. That's not a thing.
He did it, Joe.
Yeah, that's not. So just to be clear, this is a thing. This is a system in place. But J.D. Vance is the latest incarnation of the handpicked person that's going to be there, whether Trump likes it or not. But yes, go ahead. Continue, Don.
You go into McDonald's on a job interview and you get hired by the manager, okay? And then the guy who's on French fries over there, he also got hired by the manager. You know, the same person that hired Trump hired Vance, you know, or the other guy. You got to hire Trump, I get to hire Vance, whatever. We have nothing to do with any of that shit. Right. So, I mean, I know that, you know that. Which president have you ever selected, and which one are you likely to select? Yeah. Me either.
Well, J.D. Vance certainly is getting groomed for the job. He's getting very good at doing the talking points, as he just did. He proved to us just after the speech, Trump's speech, which good thing you didn't watch it, Don. I'm glad you didn't waste your brain power on that. But make no mistake, this is very familiar language. We've heard this over and over, and J.D. Vance does it very well. Here we go.
is very simple. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. If they try to rebuild a nuclear weapon, that causes problems for us. And in fact, we've seen evidence that they have tried to do exactly that. So the president sending those negotiators to try to address that problem, as the president has said repeatedly, he wants to address that problem diplomatically, but of course the president has other options as well. On what we need to see from
So yeah, so he's right in line. He's got his talking point ready to go. And people are still falling for this. I mean, how many times do we have to hear this? Here's a little compilation of how many times we've heard it over and over and over.
Not stopped. Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year.
They have the wherewithal, the stored up, preserved knowledge to make a bomb very quickly if they wanted to.
Iran is so dangerous. Weeks away from having the fissile material for an entire arsenal of nuclear bombs.
They're very close. They're 6 months away from being about 90% of having the enriched uranium for an atom bomb. Iran is gearing up to produce 25 bombs, atomic bombs a year, 250 bombs in a decade.
Iran will be capable of producing alone, without importing anything, nuclear bombs within 3 to 5 years.
Once Saddam has nuclear weapons, the terror network will have nuclear weapons. Next thing you'll see is a nuclear bomb in the World Trade Center. If you take out Saddam's regime, I guarantee you that it will have enormous positive reverberations on the region.
Oh,
how'd that work out?
Yeah. That World Trade Center reference. That's a fun one. That's a fun one. Watch out.
I was looking for my crayon and my sketch pad so I could draw me a bomb like that one Netanyahu had at the UN a few years back.
The bomb, yeah, the Wile E. Coyote picture, right?
Yeah, from Acme.
The Wile E. Coyote. Yeah, Acme bomb.
Acme bombs. Yep. Yeah. Acme nuclear bombs.
Unbelievable. What you said earlier, Don, about Iran. I mean, this might be for me. I'm trying to be the optimist that yes, it's the same blueprint every time. Yes, they're going to continue doing this over and over. But are we waking up? Are we seeing this? Because those clips, and now some people are seeing those for the first time. They're not aware that Netanyahu said that every time, but seeing it in the compilation right now, having the ability to share this on social media, which we didn't have in 1996, we didn't have it in 2001. Really, I mean, we had the internet, but we weren't doing this. We weren't clipping stuff and showing people, timestamp stuff. Like, do we have an ability now to wake up a little bit more than before? Like, how I can't imagine that Israel can continue suckering every administration over and over. Like, we have to be hitting a breaking point. Could this be that, Don?
There's a lot of stuff at play. And I kind of went off on this with Vance. I was actually making a collateral reference to him as one example of the phenomenon. But so one of the possibilities of a strike, I think Iran has made it clear that if there is some kind of a strike, they're saying one thing. Of course, they're not going to act rashly at all. No one can afford to act rashly in these circumstances, and I mean no one, including the United States. It's that this entire thing is a powder keg. You've got NATO at Russia's door. If I'm running the military in Russia somewhere, somebody's got their finger on a button in case they hear outside. It's like, oh, here it comes. They've got to push the button before the time's up. You're on it like a hair trigger, like on almost all fronts. Every time, a group of helicopters goes in the air anywhere near China, I'm sure that they're waiting for it. One of these people going to move on Korea, and when is Japan going to move on Manchuria, and when is the U.S. going to strike from Taiwan and the Philippines? All of this crap, and all the way around. If you look at a map again, we, quote unquote, the U.S. and its allies have Russia and China encircled, as has been the case pretty much since the end of World War II, and now it's at pretty much the highest point of encirclement. You had the barrier before was at the Elbe River in Europe, for example, and now it's at the border with Ukraine and the Baltics and Azerbaijan and Armenia and Georgia and all of that. Likewise in the east too. So those things are in place, and then so they've made clear if there's a strike, one, we're going to level some stuff in Israel. So your little colony there is going to get hit like it's no one's ever thought before. And we don't need any fucking atomic bombs to do that. And also, we're going to shut the Straits of Hormuz. Everyone knows that they could do that in an hour. Yeah. And so what would be the effect of that, say, on markets? For example, you've got look, anyone who's right now looking at buying a house or refinancing their house, taking equity out of it for a mortgage, realizes how uncertain things are with respect to interest rates, for example. While Trump is at war with the head of the Fed, that's going to get resolved one way or another, and that's going to have an impact. They're either going to cut rates a lot, and that's going to impact the stock market in one way, or they're going to leave rates where they are, and that's going to impact general economic activity in another way, because it's not going to encourage the kind of development that they're trying to induce with some of the other policies. And things are not on solid ground. The ground under the feet of this economy is eroding. So unless they do some kind of stimulus, there's going to be a crash of one kind or another. And the thing in the back of the minds of people who look at macroeconomics every time there is a crash, like in 2008, is this the one that's going to take the whole fucking system down? Yeah. Because we are, looking at that kind. This is an economic system that has to expand or die, and it has reached its limits in terms of how far it can go. It's up against the walls around Russia, China, and a number of other people. Also, they've frozen enough economies out of the global economy with sanctions, etc., that they've actually diminished the real estate they can operate in. I'm saying real estate in the euphemistic term, but the economic real estate that they can operate in even further. In other words, they're that much further from being able to expand to stay alive. And on top of that, in addition to not being able to expand in that way, the opportunity to expand by deepening their exploitation at home is also pretty close to a limit, since they've already taken almost all of the wealth that the rest of us have. And so when you get to a point, when these economies get to a point where they can't grow in one fashion or another, they collapse. And what they do to stave it off is produce all kinds of virtual wealth, all these different derivatives and paper, basically. The same thing that they did in the 20s that came tumbling down. This time they're looking at, well, the problem is if you take a major shock to what's there now, such as suddenly you shut the Straits of Hormuz and the oil prices double in a week or triple. We saw what happened with the Ukraine situation, for example, in 2022, when everybody decided, and in fact, in 2014, you started to feel it, but in 2022, gasoline prices doubled in a week because they said, no, we're boycotting Russian oil and gas. And so that was that. If there's an attack by the U.S. and the response from Iran is to launch against Tel Aviv like 30 or 40 real missiles and or a couple of settlements, I had thought, as a matter of fact, I mentioned it on Press TV last week, that nuclear plant that they have, Dimor or whatever the hell it's called, in Israel would be a perfect quid pro quo target. If there's a hit on Iran, if I were the head of Iran's political and military, I would blow that thing to smithereens, just vaporize it, because it's a symbol to the rest of the world. If the secret would be out when you had, look at all this radioactivity that came out of this place that is not a bomb factory, and it would cripple their ability to do nuclear weapons in the context of, you guys are ready to blow us up because we're manufacturing nuclear weapons. What about these guys right next to us who bomb the shit out of us every 3 or 4 weeks? Yeah. If any of this stuff plays out, they attack Iran, Iran bombs Israel, Iran shuts the Straits of Hormuz, no matter what kind of, I know they're working on decapitation and let's kidnap the Ayatollah and put him in a cell with, what's his name from there,
Nicolas Maduro.
Nicolas Maduro, etc. You know, yeah, great. They dream that shit up. Maybe they have some RoboCop that they've developed, you know, with the Pentagon or whatever, and they're going to send them down to scoop them out of a. That could happen, but let's say it doesn't. What's going to happen to the global economic system if it takes a hit like Israel collapses and you can't get any oil from the Persian Gulf? What happens also? Just think about the political ramifications in the Middle East. Let's say that Israel, as a proxy or on its own, it's hold me back, I'm crazy. Israel attacks, bombs Iran, and Iran takes out the nuclear power plant and/or Tel Aviv, maybe the Knesset. So here I am. I'm the Saudi royal family. I'm the Qatari royal family. I'm in the UAE. All these different places that have been playing footsie with Israel and the United States for the last 50 years or so. All of a sudden, they have to take a public fucking position on what just happened. Okay, if they take a position of anything other than let's pile on now, we've knocked it down, let's kill it, their own people are going to rise up. That's the political condition that exists in that area. And so there's like you're swimming in a sea of gasoline and playing with fucking matches. Last night, as Trump did that, everyone in that room stood up and applauded him. And the ones that were boycotting him because he's evil and crazy and whatever the hell else they're saying, they didn't have a fucking word to say about that. They're worried about whether this cartoon of his was racist or whether how he treated what's her face, etc. Who gives a shit? These things are existential threats. Yeah. I'm not using rhetoric here. They are fundamentally existential threats. They risk a global war. For what?
Yeah. And nobody has a problem with our policy, which is basically the Greater Israel Project, which we've been shouting out this whole time. And now our U.S. representative in Israel, the ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, is telling us that this is the plan. That's it. This is there's no way, like you said, Don, this is a global existential threat to be looking at this as our goal on behalf of some 3,000-year-old promise of some scripture. That's what our entire policy is about. And like you said, nobody is mad about that in the room that they should be mad about, in that room with all of those psychopaths.
But Donald Trump used a video depicting Barack Obama and his wife as apes. That is just too much.
That's the most
too far. You know, that's why Al had the sign. They're not apes. Who cares about blowing the planet up 17 times, right? But that was what happened, and that's what needs to be acknowledged.
Yeah,
because that's what a lot of American young voters will pay attention to.
If I was going to represent the Obamas and or any of the other assholes in Washington, for example, with an image, I would use Kurt Vonnegut's asterisk. Kurt Vonnegut used to represent, he would draw an asterisk, you know, the double crosses thing that you used to make a referral, like a footnote or whatever in text. He would draw them. And what that was is an asshole, literally. That I would use that because it doesn't matter. I mean, look, Obama did the same crap that Trump is doing. Obama did it on mute because his constituency was actually the victim, you know, the object of it. But he's a nice guy because he's a black guy that you want to have a beer with, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Trump is play basketball with Obama. We want to have a beer with George W. Remember?
Yeah, him too. Yeah. No, Obama was talking about. Remember when Henry Louis Gates got tossed by the cops for trying to break into his own house up in Cambridge, and people were outraged that this had happened, and so Obama brokered a sit down over a beer between Henry Louis Gates and the Boston cops or whoever the hell it was, the Cambridge cops that had tossed them, and they assumed.
He also drank the water, Don, in Flint, and made everything okay.
Yeah. I wish he'd have a little more of it. Do a few shots. So Sam says hi, by the way. He's one. I'm up in the living room.
Oh, that's what we were hearing.
Give Sammy some turkey.
Yeah, no, he's had his fill already. This is why I'm sitting in the living room. You can see behind me there. So,
Don, can I ask you why the delay? We have all the pieces on the board set up. Why does it feel like we're just like not going in and doing the quote unquote checkmate on behalf of Netanyahu? Why are we not doing that? And if not, and who is responsible for that? Is that Trump or is it something else?
I don't know. That's the problem. The problem we have is that I mean, there's a contradiction here, okay? And the question is really, what are the two opposing, things? The two things that are contradicted. One is a contradiction that's in the visible contradiction in policy, which is the obvious move towards war and the not doing it. What is holding it up? That's what you're asking, basically. So is that because this represents a contradiction in this decision-making circles, that the elite is, part of it doesn't want it, part of it does? Is it a contradiction between the guy who, by law, has to sign off on it and the people who make policy decisions want it and he doesn't? Is that the contradiction? Is there some other contradiction? Like the reality is, while you people mouth off and try to extract concessions from everybody, you're at your own wit's end. And if you push this button, we're going to take you down with every fucking thing else. I don't know which one it is. There's no way for us to know. And we really won't know until the aftermath. Either they get through, okay. So back when Trump rose in 2016, from beyond the grave, or I don't know what, a toilet backed up, whatever the hell it was, when he appeared on the political scene, came down the elevator and whatever, people were looking at this contradiction he appeared to raise. I remember I was standing in front of the stage at the RNC in 2016 when he said that no more regime change, no more none of these wars, etc. So then the question is, what was the contradiction? Is he just another bullshitting politician? Yeah, probably. But how come none of the other bullshitting politicians have even said this? It was verboten to say that in public pretty much since at least the 80s. Like Dukakis. The Democrats put up supposedly anti-war candidates in 1972, George McGovern, and when Dukakis ran in 1988, was it? Whenever the hell it was. As he's running as an anti-war candidate, being photo opped at coming out of it.
He had the helmet on. He had the helmet on
in the tank.
So the tank. It's like John Kerry in the ski and the water ski.
Yeah. Reporting for duty, sir. Yeah. So the Winter Soldier. So so the question is like, what is the contradiction? Well, when I was looking at this, he wanted to pull out of the, make things better with Russia. That was one thing that he was saying, and everybody was, piling on him about in the, establishment, and making, nice with China also, despite the rhetoric over, all these different things. And then some attempts to do it. The summit with Putin, for example, where the New York Times editorial page had people calling for him not just to be impeached, but to prosecuted for treason. What all of that was going on. So one possibility is this entire thing is a shit show. This is a dance being performed for our benefit. So we sit here and fight with each other over this or that thing instead of saying, let's get rid of the whole lot of these fucking people already and do something safer and more sane. Or did it represent something else? And one of the things the theory that I latched onto that seems most plausible out of all of the ones being floated was the possibility that what was happening was a reconfiguration of the global arrangement, that the U.S. was looking to consolidate its own control of the Western Hemisphere and was willing to grant spheres of influence outside of it. Russia, we're not going to try to put our troops in Ukraine. You can go do with what you do with Ukraine, so you're all comfy over there. China, we're not going to try to impose a separate state of Taiwan, blah, 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 and all of that. While meanwhile, saying pointing to Korea, like, you guys can have a peace treaty, and hinting that maybe we will pull our military out of there and end the occupation of Korea that's taken place since the 1920s, when the Japanese first occupied South Korea, and to Japan. Go ahead and develop a nuclear weapon and your own army and whatever, and we're going to not occupy Asia anymore. You all can figure that crap out for yourselves. And in other words, meanwhile, stay the fuck out of Cuba and Venezuela and Nicaragua. That's ours, and we're going to consolidate it. So it seemed to me that what they were planning to do was to solidify their own, the ground that they stand on, so they could dive back. Ultimately, I didn't think their goal changed at all, but they could ultimately re-engage from a position of strength. That's what I think they anticipated doing. That's part of the elite. I thought that Trump, from where he came, represented like industrial capital that wanted to re-actualize itself in the West, rather than as against the control of finance capital, which has its industrial capacity in China and elsewhere offshore, and that these two were like kind of, in some kind of competitive game. That nonetheless, it's a matter of two guys looking at a turkey on the table, that turkey being us, and fighting over who's going to get the two legs and the wings and the white meat, etc. Not like it was going to be any better, but it was a different game. And to me, the opportunity was that we were, what Obama's administration did, and then Biden in Ukraine, and Trump too, by the way, because he in what I thought was kicking the can down the road, left more military capacity in the hands of those people there to fight the war. But what I thought they did was ridiculously adventurous. They collapsed the Ukrainian government. Most people aren't aware of the fact that at the same time they did that, they also had the same game going on in Belarus and in Kazakhstan. They had elections that people were boycotting. They had people in the street, and they were trying to take over from the street. In each case, if you look at a map, and you'll understand exactly what the hell was afoot then. But the problem for Nuland and her people in those two countries is that you don't have the same ethnic division along the map that you had in Ukraine. So Ukraine, rather than being relatively homogenous, like Belarus, full of Russians in essence, and Kazakhstan, full of a variety of Asian nationalities that have all gotten along very well over history. In Ukraine, if you have the country here, there's a line almost down the middle where half of them are they're Western European looking. They're with Peter the Great, with a window on Europe, moving the capital from Moscow to St. Petersburg. And the other half are Russians, period. We are Russians. We look to Moscow, and we look to Vladivostok too. We're not looking to Berlin and Paris and London for our identity. And the church that they belong to is reflected there as well. Even though you have the Orthodoxes in across the board, when the Ukrainian church has existed, it has had very cordial relations with the Vatican. And where the Russian church exists, it has very cordial relations with the Russian Orthodox Church and the Orthodox movement in the world in general. This is a civilizational division, and Kiev, the capital, which is what was captured, is solidly inside the Western European part of that country. So as they agitated in each of these three countries on various things, they were agitating on nationality and religion in Ukraine. And, you can't go wrong doing that pretty much with human idiots. That's what we are. Yeah. So when they occupied, you had all these people that hated Russians in the streets, and they attacked a guy who was elected by the Russians in the East, and that they thought was too friendly to the Russians, and took over the government. Anyway, what was happening was they were attempting to take the Belarus and Kazakhstan as well, and Russia would have been naked, like in the West and the South, all the way to Mongolia, pretty much. Georgia is on tenterhooks. Kazakhstan is up against China and India. It's pretty far east. So, I thought doing all of that was more than adventurous, and that Obama was risking World War III more than anyone on any side had done since 1945. And so anything that would thwart the furthering of that policy, to me, seemed to be the most important thing that we could do, so we could live another day to deal with whatever other issue there was, including whatever other problems Trump would create.
Yeah.
And so far, we haven't had World War III, by the way, because it has been tempered by the fact that there's a political constituency on the right that doesn't want to have a war with Russia.
Yeah. Well, it seems like we're so close to that World War III that we even like to think that there's a possibility. I don't like to think, but it seems like a clear possibility that the history books will write it, that we've already been in it the whole time, and it'll be retroactive, depending on what happens in the rest of this.
They might sound like they're against it in their rhetoric, but they're not actually showing in their actions. Constantly sending weapons and actually upping some of the weapons and still using the same, intel and whatnot. That has not been pulled. So it's.
Hey man, when I was over there in March of 2024 for the election, for the presidential election, I think I got back like 2 days. I left Moscow like 2 days before they had they blew up a nightclub full of people in the middle of Moscow, like blocks away from the Kremlin. And that was shortly after they flew a drone attack against the Kremlin.
Yeah.
Now, if you could imagine in October of 1962, if Khrushchev had launched a drone attack against the White House while the Cuban Missile Crisis was going on, by comparison, the Cuban Missile Crisis, quote unquote, you have a couple of dozen missiles that half of them won't even get off the fucking ground. The reason you have 20 of them is so 6 of them launch, and maybe 3 of them will find something close to the target. In 1962, that was missile technology. And that threat covering an attack on the White House by Russia would have triggered World War III.
Yeah.
And we have, the militaries, in essence, of the EU and the US, at the borders of Russia, firing shit into Russia on a daily basis after bombing the shit out of Russians in eastern Ukraine for now it's 10 years or something, 12 years. Yeah. So, that's the background to how close we are. And now the overt steps, again, it's going to be very scary to see what falls out after an attack on Iran. And especially what's going to be scary about it is what kind of maniacal arrogance it induces in the military and intelligence planners here over what else they can get away with next.
Yeah. Well, Don, we're only 1 year into this second term here, so there's 3 more to go. I can't imagine he's going to outdo himself, but we're not. It's hard to make that. We wouldn't want to say that and then be proven wrong, which is, I think we might be. This might just be the warm up. The first year might just be the warm up, but there's certainly going to be more conversations to come as long as we're not completely annihilated. Don, we really appreciate your contribution. One more thing you want to.
One last thing.
Let us know.
Let's say they do a Nixon on Trump, okay? And so what they first do is they come for Vance. They get a picture of him screwing a goat or whatever the hell it takes to get him out. And with AI, he doesn't even have to know the goat's name, okay? So out goes Vance. And now the politicking, the same kind of stuff that produced Gerald Ford, produces the vice president behind Trump. and then either he chokes to death on a Big Mac or slips off the plane a la Joe Biden, and everybody goes, ha ha, you got yours, or they shoot him, or they just remove him. Here's a picture of you with your goat or whatever, and Epstein. And so the next president of the United States gets chosen from, so we don't get Vance. Who are we going to get? Well, the Speaker of the House, in the absence of a vice president, is next in line. I'm not any more comfortable with that yutz as president than I am with Trump, and less so because he doesn't owe a constituency anywhere to which he's promised to not go to war with Russia and to not do regime change and all of that. The fact that Trump promised it, even as he violates it, he's offending a constituency, and one of the legs that he stands on in that office is eroding under him. This guy going in has no such problems. He's going to do what he wants to do or what he's told to do, and he doesn't have a constituency that he has to worry about offending other than the people that put him in power. So whoever that ends up being, if it's Schumer or, if it's anyone, even if it's Massey or God help us, what's the knucklehead's name in Cynthia McKinney's old district? Hanky Panky, Hank Johnson. Any of them, we're in the same boat, objectively speaking, because until the U.S. military is dissolved and the CIA scattered to the four winds, as they tried to do 60 some odd years ago now, and the military brought back home and decommissioned and put not just in a mothball fleet, but banged into plowshares, and then the plowshares shot into outer space, are we going to be out of this situation? As long as the potential exists to do what's happening, there's a group of people who believe it's in their interest to continue moving this thing forward so they can ultimately have control of the whole planet. There are people that are there are animals or life form on this planet that fucking insane that has the wherewithal to destroy all of us, that has its hands on these levers of power. And until we take them off, we're in the same boat. So,
Don DeBar, thank you so much for being with us here today on THL Homeless Left. Tell people where they can find you or what you got coming up.
I have no idea what I'm doing tomorrow. I don't even know what I'm doing. But I have a YouTube page. I've been putting up a lot of stuff, local political stuff lately. I'm just like archiving tapes, and as I open a box, what's in this? Oh, okay, and putting it up on my YouTube page. Some people might find some of it interesting. Facebook is more or less my newswire, my feed over there with the things I'm looking at and working on, and Twitter likewise. I operate a lot on both of those. So
awesome. All right. Well, thanks again, Don, for taking the time with us, having the thoughtful conversation. I know our viewers really appreciate it as well, just that thoughtful insight you bring us every time. So we look forward to having you back again in the near future.
Thank you. I look forward to seeing you guys. Pasta, look forward to seeing you in person, both you guys in person, but seeing your ass out here in New York.
Definitely. You got meatballs and Chianti. I'm on my way.
I got them.
I'm there.
Awesome.
Later, dudes. Take care. Matt, by the way, the invitation is extended to you as well. But I know you're married and have a home life. You're not quite as footloose and fancy free, right?
That's not true, actually.
I thought you were.
No, I'm married, but the second half you said is not accurate. We certainly do get around and love to travel, and we actually were talking about coming out to New York at some point in the very near future.
Hit me up, but we can put you up even. Yep.
I think we should all meet in Colombia and call it a day.
Yeah.
Later, guys.
All right. Take care, Don.
Later, Don.
All right. Don DeBar, everyone. We're going to get reset here. Here's a little video to tie you guys over. I guess we're saying about the first year of Trump's second term. Here's a little summary from the Department of War team and everything that we've just lived through over the last calendar year. We'll see you guys back here in a second.
But tonight, after just 1 year, I can say with dignity and pride that we have achieved a transformation like no one has ever seen before.
building for peacetime. We are pivoting the Pentagon and our industrial base to a wartime footing. We are pivoting the Pentagon and our industrial base to a wartime footing.
That was from Gen X Girl. We appreciate that one. Nice little montage there. Nice to always have some historical perspective. Matt Weinglass, Craig Pass will be back in just a moment here. I just want to welcome everyone, whatever platform you're coming in with us. You've seen you guys up on YouTube, up on Rumble, and a few of our other spots. We know it's been shared out, so we appreciate you guys sharing it out to your channels as well. And we know we've gotten some super chats here. I just want to make sure, and we're going to take some time to actually engage with you a little bit more closer later in the show when we do talking back. But for now, I just want to throw up a couple of these super chats and Rumble rants that came in. I saw we had to take this right from the Rumble. It's hard. Rumble doesn't let us connect directly to the StreamYard comments, but nevertheless, this came from Bronx Comrade. Thanks so much for the Rumble rant. Any congressional outrage about American citizens murdered by Israel in the West Bank? Great question, and we can answer that for you, Bronx Comrade. No outrage from any of those people in that room that were protesting by sitting down when they felt like sitting down and yelling out, "You've killed Americans." But no mention of American citizens murdered in the West Bank. Of course not, because if you bring that up, then you got to look at all of the illegal occupation and the stealing of homes and the bulldozing of roads and cities and the stealing of the property, not to mention the auctioning that we have going on here regularly out in New York, here in LA. They're literally auctioning off property. I think there's a company, I can't remember the name of the company, but Leonardo DiCaprio just got little cha-ching on the West Bank. I wonder who he stole that from. I'm sure he's pretty happy about his new investment. Yeah, that's right. Leo did that. Mr. Environmentalist himself thought he'd cash in on the action. He's right on that Tel Aviv West Bank board. He's loving it. He's loving it. So just so you guys know, no, there's no congressional outrage. They just don't have time, or maybe just not enough room. We only have so much bandwidth, right? We only have so much we can utilize at once. So we fill that up, and it's too much. It's like overload. Disk is full, right? Hard drive full. Erase some data if you want to download anything else there. That's where we're at with those guys. So let's see. We also had a couple super chats coming in as well. We appreciate it. We appreciate Citizen. You've given us some good ones here. Oh, this is Deep Green. Thank you, Deep Green VO. Really appreciate it. Dems will also platform an ex-CIA, now turned governor, for a bullshit response to the State of the Union. Yeah, a duopoly can kick rocks. Yeah, isn't it time we just all say no more? I feel like our group's getting larger. I feel like it is. We're not quite there yet. There's still people like, oh, you see, we told you should have voted for Kamala. Look what happened. It's like, no, you're missing the whole effing point. Don't fall for it again. Don't go back in. Oh, but we got Mamdani now. Yay. Oh, did you see? AOC's running. Yay. No. Did you hear Gavin Newsom was sticking it to Israel? No, he's not. That's not actually a thing. He's lying. He's playing a character. He's Mr. LA actor. That's what he's following right in line with the acting troupe that we have coming right out of LA. And by the way, this is where the DC-based East Coast people, they take their cue from Hollywood. They're always doing acting lessons. They're always taking their cue. How do you sell the moment? How do you sell the shoulder shrug? How do you Gavin Newsom is 100% mastered the shoulder shrug. Actually, he overdoes it like an over actor. But you know what I'm talking about, that I can relate to you, man. I can relate to you. All acting, all theater. You guys know how it works. Okay. What else? Yeah. So keep them coming for us, guys. Let me go ahead and play. You know what? We have a lot more coverage coming up here. We're going to be getting into the update on the Epstein files. We have some major developments. They're constant developments, but overall, I think more people are paying attention, which is good. So we're going to keep covering that. We're also, we got a little thing on Bill Maher again. We're always keeping that guy. I don't know why, we're letting him live rent free a little in our head. Oh no, we have a little problem with the screen here. Let me fix that. That's weird. When did this start happening? Okay, that's a weird one. Let me fix this. Sorry guys. I think we got it. Okay. All right, it's back. That's a weird one. Okay. This one, we're just gonna throw this up right now. There's not much to say about it, so just enjoy. It's kind of a funny little thing. We're not even gonna do a segment on it. Just enjoy it, and we'll be right back. We'll be right back with Pasta and Matt for our next topic really soon. In the meantime, take a look at this. What we call this. This is Sneako. What he did was he, I guess, what is the term you do? What he did was he chat flooded a Ben Shapiro podcast. It was pretty awesome. And just check it out. Little funny little, it's called it's a chat flood. Not bots. Be very different between bots flooding your chat, which is a controlled it's a actual operation against you, versus actual people that are like, no, we're gonna teach Ben Shapiro a lesson, and we're gonna do it with a little what we like the expression hashtag Free Palestine, and the Sneako fans loved doing it. Check this out.
Total domination.
I think there's a lot to glean from some
total
of the
look at it!
But there's a lot of optimism to have to know that our country is back.
So, Michael, actually, no. I've barred Drew from this conversation for too long, and I can see that he really wants to talk about the State of the Union address.
I actually do want to say something, though, about what Isabel said and what Noel said before. I think the great triumph of the speech was a negative triumph.
Bro!
Bring the
holy
back into the center of our attention how crazy and bad the Democrats are and will be again.
Oh my God, bro!
He made
there's not one of his chatters.
Brilliant theater. It was
with 5,000. Oh, we have more viewers right now.
It's going to be harder because the positive message means that people have to feel it in their pocketbooks because they're never ever going to see it in the mainstream.
Shut up.
The press has practiced inducing amnesia. The minute Trump solves a problem, it vanishes from the news. The minute the border is closed, nobody talks about the border anymore. They just always leap into the next.
He's looking at it. Look at him look.
Oh, isn't the way people are being deported?
Look, he's looking.
Terrible. And that's been the trick that they've used, and it's been pretty effective.
Yes,
At some point, people are going to stop and take a breath and say, are things really worse?
The country's changing.
Do I want these people
We're
back?
sick of these people.
Negative really well.
Shilling for Israel.
I don't think any words are going to accomplish the positive message that he wants to put forward.
Watch him blame it on Pakistan bots.
I think he should be hammering away.
Look at it.
Telling people what he's done, but people are going to have to feel it in their pocketbook. Every problem Trump solves.
Okay, we're back. We're back for some more Homeless Left. I'm Matt Weinglass here with Craig Pasta hanging out this afternoon for you guys. We're here all afternoon. This is our Thursday show. We're giving you the non-tribal approach to news. We're talking about the two-party capture, the duopoly, the uniparty, working on behalf of Israel. We're this close to attacking Iran. We've been talking about forever, but all the other stuff going on, the Mexico, we talk about the Mexico cartel false flag operation. We literally kidnapped the president of Venezuela. We were holding him in a dungeon, probably. No one's talking about that. But you guys know all the escapades, all the Department of War stuff. We also know what's going on the home front. We understand the surveillance mechanism in place, the digital ID. This is what they do. They get the other half of the country on board. We literally switched places. Did you guys remember 4 or 5 years ago? Do you remember that it was the left saying, listen to instructions, don't ask questions, stay home. We're all in this together.
Do your part.
Yeah, that's now it's switched. It's going outside is now a problem that the left's doing, and the right is saying, no, stay home, trust the science, trust the ICE science. That's now they just switched it. It's trust the ICE science, trust the 3D 60 chess, trust it. Don't ask questions, stay home. Here's a hint for you guys. You don't have to know you don't have to be an expert in geopolitics. You don't have to be an expert in all these areas or be a doctor or a scientist or any sort of expert in any field to know that maybe use your critical thinking skills and understand that whatever the case may be, and they're going to keep doing this. This isn't the last time. Just if you're questioning what side to be on, how about just assume, because this is the way it is. It's always be on the side of the people, and the people is the side that's going outside. That's it. That are opening the front door and going outside. The people that are telling you to stay inside and wear a mask and don't challenge authority, they're on the wrong side. So that's how we keep this straight. But this is, make no mistake, they captured the other half of the country. They got them to follow instructions, and now we're all moving into this digital ID system. So here we are. But this, as we said, Craig, this is the moment. I think this is a very specific moment in time, and we're talking about the Epstein files. And I think that's enough. That's a tipping point for a lot of people to say, whoa, what's going on? Yeah. What the hell have they all been in on this the whole time? And why does it look like that they're all protecting each other? Yeah. Well, that is what's happening.
I think one of the biggest slaps in the face that we saw from a lot of the people, especially the survivors, was Kash Patel going and celebrating the hockey team's victory of gold. Like, nobody says that we don't want, to celebrate when, obviously a great victory for the U.S. Hockey team beating Canada in the gold medal game. Last time they had an Olympics, they lost in that game in overtime. This time they got it. It was really awesome, cool, fine. But you're the director of the FBI, and you literally have all these Epstein files dropping, and you pretty much sent the message along with Pam Bondi and Donald Trump himself that you're no longer going to go into these files and go to look to investigate anybody, that it's a done deal and we're moving on, right? And this is one of the big reasons that you went out there and you campaigned, is that you're going to take on the deep state. You're going to take on those who are taking advantage of us. Now, it's, it was all those people, like you said, you played with the South Carolina video of Donald Trump years ago when he was in a debate against the rest of the Democratic Party. That Donald Trump is long gone. It's not about these people who are taking advantage of and moving us into stupid wars. It's those people who we gone to war with. Those are the ones who are taking advantage of us, and we must use peace through strength to get rid of them. So it's more war. It's more of the same. You've been tricked, and that's where we're at today.
Yeah. Well,
I've been tricked.
Well, here we are. A lot of people are waking up to the con job with the Epstein files, but the media has to keep playing the game that it's either the Democratic hoax or they're trying to protect Trump at all costs, and that's the game. They keep playing it on each other. Hillary Clinton had to go testify. That happened. So the cameras aren't in there. She famously said before, we have nothing to hide. We're all about transparency. I wish the cameras were allowed. Yeah, right. Well, this is a report that came out, what's going on in that room, based from an AP report.
Hours from now. But the Associated Press is reporting Hillary Clinton in testimony says, and she's under oath, she has no information on Epstein's criminal activities and never recalls meeting him. Jason.
That may be true, but I think the question is, what about the money? I think what you're going to see from this, again, no allegation of necessarily breaking the law, but what about the money? I think the money trail is the primary question, or one of the questions that the Clintons are going to ask. Hillary Clinton's going to be asked. Donations that went into the Clinton initiative. What about the Global Foundation? And what were the introductions? Because the soft power of having a former Secretary of State or having a First Lady making introductions, opening doors, there are going to be a lot of questions about that.
So yeah, that's the game. That's the position Fox News has to take. Meanwhile, over on CNN, this is what they got to do over there. It's a little more about, well, we know what it's about. It's about saying this is all about Trump and the files and the rape stuff. It's all Trump. It's all Trump. It's all Trump.
You got this reporting. Walk us through it.
Well, Anna,
I'm sorry, it's MS Now. I mixed them all up. MS Now, same shit, whatever.
Okay, well,
MS then, MS
after
later.
further review, the
yeah.
statement stands.
Yeah, exactly.
one of the things I can tell you is that based on documents that are available in the Epstein files, and we're just going to hold up to you what allowed us to get to this reporting. This is an index of witness statements from people who were not expected to testify at Ghislaine Maxwell's trial, but whose statements were nonetheless produced to her defense counsel in the run-up to her 2021 trial. We also have a smaller one with respect to those who were expected to testify. And based on those indices, as well as documents available in the file, MS Now can report that there is at least one witness for whom 3 interviews with the FBI in rapid succession in 2019 are missing. You might say, well, what's the big deal about that? Well, the big deal about that is that we can also confirm that that woman is the same person who in a 2025 FBI presentation is identified to have accused Donald Trump of a sexual assault when she was between 13 and 15 years old.
Okay. Look, I'm not taking away from this claim, and I do think there's a absolutely, like, a great chance that this is legit. But what they're doing right here, guys, what they're doing,
selective choosing.
They're they're selecting the case against Trump. But even worse, because you knew they were going to do that. That's obvious, right? They're gonna select the case against Trump, but they're choosing one that paints a picture that the victims. Now, you're still a victim, and I'm not trying to pull a Megyn Kelly here, but what I'm saying is, you're talking about a 14, 15-year-old girl who went through this horrible thing, allegedly, that they're removing from the files. It paints a different picture from what we're really looking at in the files, which is they're eating babies. They're not telling you that. So do you understand? And that the fact that it's with Trump, that keeps their audience like, that's it. Look at them. We got to the bottom of it. Just like with E. Jean Carroll, we got to the bottom of it. And New York Times, they're also on board with this because they're saying, uh-oh, here we go. Epstein files are missing. This is about a woman who made a claim against Trump. Here we go. And I just, again, if you guys are going to these places and thinking that you're getting we got to the bottom of it. They didn't want to tell us, but we asked more questions and we found out that these particular files were specifically protecting Trump from this victim. We got them. No, you didn't get them. By the way, New York Times, just to flash back, put this headline out back in 2014. I just want to be clear. This is the same publication. This is the same publication that told us.
Yeah, pedophilia is not a crime.
That's the New York Times. So if anyone, you're still reading this shit, I don't know what to tell you if you're still reading this crap.
The same people in MSN and obviously they're not mentioning Tom Pritzker. Tom Pritzker is a guy who, once again, he's the cousin or the uncle to J.B. Pritzker, or I think he's just the older cousin. Guy is part of that, elite family members, those bloodlines and stuff. Well, he's the guy who's made, Gavin Newsom's career, bankrolled the guy. There's no mention of him on that, but they still want to use it to weaponize and go after Donald Trump. Let's not forget that the Democrats and Joe Biden were in office for many years, never produced any of this stuff. And, you want to talk about Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton had Epstein come to the White House 17 times in his 2, terms. So, I mean, this should tell you more than anything that this is not a partisan issue. Both parties are involved. The elites are involved. This should be something that should unite us and have them all take them down. And you're right. We want to know more about the babies that are being eaten, the adrenochrome that's being withdrawn, all those things that we don't have maybe 1,000% solid proof, because I'm sure they're withholding a lot of that stuff back in those files. A lot of the videos we aren't seeing. But I think a lot of us are at the point where we believe it's definitely happening and we want to know more. And the fact that they're just washing their hands and saying, we put it out, now we're moving on. There's no evidence that there was a a child trafficking ring, right? I mean, give me a fucking break on this, guys.
It's so frustrating because we're not trying to be a courtroom here. We're not the judge, jury, and execution. What we are is, though, we're people that are doing our research, and we're saying that looks suspect. And there's a reason that on MS Now, then later, whatever the F they call themselves now, the reason they're saying we're investigating the Trump part of this and the 15-year-old girl. Yeah. There's a reason they're not telling us about the thing I saw on day one. When I went, they were like, RT calls me and says, "Hey, listen, they're dropping 3 million files. Let's get ready." And I had to look at things immediately and go, "Oh my God, this is big." Yeah. And the first thing I saw, did I tell you the first thing I saw on the day those 3 million dropped? First thing I saw was a screenshot of a witness describing in detail about George Bush Sr.
Yeah.
You guys, you can look that one up. I'm not going to describe right now, but you want to just put that story, not to shame. Again, I'm not shaming anybody, any victim or survivor of a rape of a sitting president who was 15 years old at the time. I'm talking about witnesses, credible witnesses in FBI files talking about this disgusting eating of children in front of another child as he's being tortured. And this is the reason they're not talking about on mainstream is because they're protecting something much, much larger than let's get Trump. That's all I'm saying.
The Skippy video was kind of reignited, and that was the one that made me say that I quit. I didn't want to say I quit, but I just could not go into these, files back in the days before there was even Twitter was even popular. When we were getting these things and just leaked information and Q drops and all these situations, but it was like the Skippy video was I don't want to say reenacted, but it did catch fire again. The Skippy video is more audio than video, and you can hear John Podesta beating a little boy, calling me Skippy, and the kid's voice. It was so horrifying. But those are the things that really, to me, where a lot of people were trying to kind of highlight. These are the things. Like, this isn't about Republican versus Democrat at this point. This is about satanic, cultic fucking behavior that we need to get to the bottom to. We should be burning Rome down and us being Rome. I mean,
can we at least start with this? I mean, shouldn't this email, just this one, just be enough? It doesn't have to get into all the disgusting, just this admittance, because we were told by Pam Bondi's team, we were told there's not enough to prosecute, there's not enough to handcuff anyone. Yeah. But yet what happened here? This is Epstein himself responding to an email about a filmmaker that he's reached out to by saying, "Hey, this filmmaker, she's a director. If you see below that, Aliza, she's a film director. She's working on a human rights movie." Well, the response from Epstein is like, "Yeah, I know her. She told me about the project, and she was researching it. The project is about a bad guy that gets children for sex sent to his island. Children for sex, children." And he's saying in the email, she almost fainted when I told her that person is me. Yeah. Isn't this enough? Isn't they had the time to black out the email who sent that? Isn't this enough though to go after to say what is going on here? Well, people looked up this filmmaker, and it turns out, she checks out. This looks like it's her. This is Aliza. And on Instagram and on we looked her up on IMDb. She goes by I guess Elysian Ra, and she did make a movie about sex trafficking in New York. It came out in 2019. It's a short film called "Come Into Me," and I'd like to get my eyes on this and check this out. But it's about you can see this a trafficked girl, a pimp, and a sex client are trapped in their circumstances in New York. I wonder if it involves any tunnels under some manholes. Yeah, I'm just throwing it out because if that's the setting is New York, I'm just thinking maybe there's a underground tunnel involved in the production. Just guessing. I don't know. I'd like to see it, but so again, there's no investigation being conducted. The only one we're seeing, and I know we've talked about Thomas Massie on the show. It's important that we show what he's doing. Yes. Pasta, I should tell you, Jay's been doing some investigation. We saw some stuff on Massey. I know a lot of our viewers didn't like this. We're going to go a little bit more into it next week.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go down this right now, but if you guys want to, you can check out some of our segments on the channel. You can see we did cover Massey does seem to have a connection to Freemasons.
Yeah. As a younger age. Yeah.
So it's there. So this might be some controlled opposition, and that's I know
that is the fear
that's
a lot
fear.
of people, and then he does come from a masonry family, but you know what I mean,
But
supposedly human with a conscience maybe could break that mold.
So
who knows?
Yes, and we're going to be fair on the show. We're going to, if we see something, we're going to go into it. We're going to look into it. We're going to ask questions. We're going to try to get answers. At the same time, if this is the only guy going on the floor to name names, we're also going to show you that, because that takes some sort of courage to do this.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from Kentucky, Mr. Massey, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Congress created the Department of Justice. Congress funds the Department of Justice, and Congress is responsible for the oversight of the Department of Justice. When will we see justice? I'll tell you what I've not seen. I've not seen any arrests from the revelations in the Epstein files, over 3 million documents describing horrible things, describing unspeakable things, so much of it redacted. Over 24 people have resigned, CEOs, members of government worldwide, but I haven't seen any arrests or investigations here in the United States from this Department of Justice. Prince Andrew, Duke of York, who has since been stripped of his royalty, his royal titles, due to his affiliation with Jeffrey Epstein, has been arrested. Peter Mandelson, who previously served as UK's ambassador to the United States, resigned in disgrace from United Kingdom's House of Lords and the Labour Party, and he's been arrested. Former Prime Minister of Norway, Torbjorn Jagland, has been charged, but we don't see any charges, arrests, or investigations in the United States. What do we see? We see our FBI director celebrating in the locker room at the Olympics overseas.
That's what you mentioned. That's exactly right. She's telling us the distinction between this is at least these people, a handful of them are getting at least escorted to the police station, even though they get released after that, and they have to resign, and they're shamed. They're publicly shamed. At least that we're not doing any of that.
No.
We're having what you said, that moment of Kash Patel in the locker room with the Olympic winners. I mean, that is the most disgusting moment. This is not a left and right thing. This is not a Dem and MAGA thing. This is do you know how bad that looks thing? The rest of the world is they're not laughing at us. They're ashamed for us, and they're embarrassed for us.
Yeah.
That's what's going on right now.
This is Trump's Department of, DHS too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and this is his State
That's-
Department.
yeah.
This is like
having beers.
Come on,
with-
guys!
yeah.
Like, what's going on with you guys?
Yeah.
Like, how can you stand behind this?
Yeah. So he's going to put a few names out there. Obviously, we've heard some of them already, but there's going to be 3 names. Let's see if we can get to this.
It's fine to be proud of this country, but we should be proud of this country because we have a system of justice that works, and yet we do not. Who are the men that should be investigated? I'll name them right here. Leon Black. You don't even have to see past the redactions to see that this man needs to be investigated. Jess Staley, accused of terrible things. It's right there in the files. Why is he not being investigated? And Leslie Wexner.
Okay, those are your names. Let's do Massey some service, because he put some work in this. He got out there. He's doing it. No one else.
Those are the 3 obvious ones, right?
But let's just start with that and understand why these people aren't being discussed on any of those networks. So this is let's look at this. Who do we have? We have Leon Black. We have Jess Staley. Staley, and then we have Les Wexner. So what do we know about the first one, Leon Black? Well, here's what if you guys look up, cross-reference these 2 files. There was a 16-year-old girl with autism, perfect victim for them. And she wrote in her diary. There's just horrible stuff in this diary about her experiences with Epstein. Leon Black, Ghislaine Maxwell, and or her assistant during her abortion. It's absolutely horrific what she describes. That's in the files. You guys can cross-reference those if you want to go check it out. But again, these are people that are not, they're just hanging around, doing their thing. Yeah. No problem. What's the next one? Look at this. If you haven't heard of Just Staley, this guy, is it Staley or
Staley?
Staley. Staley. Okay. A photo from the email dump. Victim Maria Farmer's artwork. Former big, what is this? JPM bigwig and JP Morgan bigwig and Barclays CEO. There he is, Just Staley, and one of the redacted emails. Please give me the, and this is Rudy Harvingstein that put this out. Please give me the power to arrest, question, and indict people. Pam Bondi, begging Pam Bondi to do something. Thank you for the attention to this matter. If you scroll down, this is the email where they brag about the little girl who they had put on a Snow White outfit.
Yeah.
Absolutely disgusting, horrible. And there's nothing being done about this guy right now.
Nothing.
The third one, you guys know.
Yeah.
You guys know what's going on with Lutnick. In fact, you might have missed this in the opening of
this. The third one is
Lutnick.
Leslie Wexner.
Oh, Wexner. I'm sorry. You know what? I didn't pull the That was the fourth one I was going to do. Okay. You guys know what's going on with Les Wexner.
Well, he's the one. He was actually.
He's the one that did the.
And this one of the biggest moments in that trial with Pam Bondi with the Dow is over $50,000. One of the biggest moment in that situation is when Massey's like, "Well, we caught you redacting Leslie Wexner's name when he was named as a co-conspirator, right?"
Yeah.
And like, well, it was one name. And like, no, I caught you trying to remove the email and cover for the guy, naming him as a co-conspirator. In other words, he needs to be investigated, let alone arrested. But I mean, this guy was the linchpin to Jeffrey Epstein. And the fact that he's not been brought to justice just shows you they don't care about us. They don't care about you. It was all hot air. And now what are you going to do about it? Now that time has come and gone, what are you going to do about it? Nobody's going to jail.
No. So Les Wexner gets away with this stupid thing where his lawyer mouthed off camera. You guys, I don't know if you guys saw that at the off mic moment. I'll fucking kill if you keep talking. But why was his lawyer even concerned? Because it seems like you can say whatever you want and do whatever you want, and as long as you're in the U.S., you're not even gonna have to go through the motions of like a Prince Andrew having to go away in cuffs on his birthday. And that was, again, we're not saying that he's gonna end up Prince Andrew's gonna end up in jail, but at least he's going through the justice motions.
And Trump sympathized for him over the fucking survivors on that. It's a shame. I mean, are you fucking disgusting?
Yeah.
You're a liar, buddy.
Well, there's one more I wanted to throw into the mix just because it was so recent and you guys might have missed this. This is who was in the room.
Yeah.
There's one of the people.
So I have a story about this too as well.
Well,
let's do after. Yeah.
Let's play the clip. If you guys don't know him by now, this is Howard Lutnick, and look at how everybody responds to him. It says nothing that the fact that he hasn't been in cuffs and he hasn't been kicked out have nothing to do with Trump's team ever again. He walks in and everybody wants to shake his hand. This is what an FU to anybody that's for the survivors right now. Oh my gosh. This guy can't stop smiling. Look at this. Look at this. Hey, elite family of psychopaths. Hey, unbelievable. This guy. You want to do a quick little look at, if you guys don't know how bad it is with Lutnick, this is how bad it is. So this is a complaint. The FBI, this is all documented. The complaint is that it claims that he engaged in money laundering, Ponzi-style financial schemes, use of offshore shell companies, liquid funding channels, and real estate brokerage firms. He moved money, global Ponzi share. This is the big Ponzi scheme involving all these employees and contributing to a portion of their earnings. Oh, but it gets worse. It's not just a money laundering scheme. It gets worse. So this was the scheme that was tied to his leadership roles at BGC Financial and Cantor Fitzgerald. There's also claims that he bought a house from Epstein for $10, that Lutnick also made huge donations to attend events hosted by Ghislaine Maxwell. They also claim to have proof of the financial crime. So all this is all, like, we can find it all. It's all here. So they ran an internal database queries at the FBI, and they found 26 case file hits, 3 suspicious activity reports, prior closed cases involving financial crime themes, but yet they didn't pursue the investigation. And that's interesting. And then somehow he just gets dropped in there as U.S. Secretary of Commerce, which, I mean, you could say handpicked by Trump or handpicked by the people controlling everything. Either way, that's where he's at right now. And totally fine to walk in. This is just, I can't, it's a little faded there, but that's in the files. It spells it out there a little bit more on this page. You guys can cross-reference it yourself if you like. But this is where it gets, we tie it back to the 9/11 story. You guys know that when we look at the tie to the, I guess the put options that were put against the airlines and against these companies right before 9/11, we know about those put options that happened. They actually are in the commission report. I was surprised to see that this whole firm, this Alex Brown firm, it's actually in the commission. We thought that they got rid of all the incriminating stuff, but it's actually in
Richard Gage tweet, by the way, so it's got a lot of thought behind it, and he's an expert on Richard Gage on what happened on 9/11. So
yeah. So, and we've known about these. It's the big put options that were put on the airlines, and that's United and American that they knew were going to go down. So you make money off of it in advance.
Absolutely.
So this is where it gets more gruesome because it's not just a money laundering screen.
I'm gonna tell you something about number 3 too as well.
So So we have confirmed 658 employees of Cantor Fitzgerald died on 9/11. Their headquarters was on the top floors of the North Tower, and now go for it.
One of the employees that is the 658 employees of Cantor Fitzgerald happens to be one of my cousins we lost. His name was Dominic Calia, and he started a young kid with this company right out of high school, worked his way up. There was rumors that day that he was asked to go in because one of the executives wanted to take his child to preschool or first day or kindergarten. Supposedly that person was Cantor Fitzgerald, and my cousin went in his place. When I was considering getting into the market, I was speaking very closely with my cousin, knew he worked in the tower, was going to maybe think about going to work for Cantor Fitzgerald one day, get my license and stuff. But I didn't. My cousin encouraged me, go to LA, go pursue your dream. And I ended up moving out here, doing all that stuff. So it was kind of a little bit close to me, understanding that. But I mean, it just resonates with me all the time when I hear that story, the fact that he knew, right? Like people keep on asking him, how come you mysteriously didn't go to work that fucking day? Well, one of my cousins, his name was Dominic Calia. You can look at him. We lost him. He was one of the 658 employees of that particular day in 9/11. And it hits kind of home when you kind of hear that whole situation, that you knew this guy kind of knew what was going on. Like,
absolutely.
You can just assume it. I mean, there's been no smoking gun evidence, but there's a lot of talk about it, and people talk about it. Whitney Webb's talked about it. Why? How did that day Howard Lutnick knew not to go to work?
Yeah. I mean, this is, so when you look at this story that he told, it doesn't make any sense.
His son's to his first day of kindergarten.
Yes.
Okay. So I have this is there.
So this story makes that you would concoct a story that, okay, you're right, Craig. We don't have definite proof, but what I can tell you is this is not how a normal story goes. Do you want to know what it sounds? Let me give you guys an example of what it sounds like when you actually did drive your kid to school.
Yeah.
This is what it sounds like. You go, oh my God, I never do this, but I happen to volunteer to drive into school that day.
Yes.
That's it. Guess what? That's the end of the story. Why all this excessive details? Why talk about first day of school? Why say that it was my wife? Why are you playing this whole dramatic? Yeah. My wife told me. Why do you need to say, you make it this emotional thing? It's not emotional. Logistics are not emotional. Logistics are logistics. Oh, I drove my son to school. That's a crazy ass coincidence. But he goes through this whole thing, and my wife talked me into it. And it was guess what, guys? It wasn't the first day of school. We looked at the records.
Yeah.
The school records, school started a week before. Why are you telling us it's the first day when it was the second week?
Yeah.
So you're just making up shit. And what are the chances? Because Larry Silverstein had the same exact story.
Yeah.
What are the chances?
Yeah.
Also, the wife wasn't there. She works there too. Look at number 5. His wife, Trump left that part out of the story. Your wife also works in the building on the 101st floor on the North Tower. So while she begged you emotionally, just begged you to be a good dad and drive your kid to school,
she slept in.
She accidentally slept in. So did she beg you the night before and then the alarm didn't work? So neither of you were there, but yet you were also there. So you did the drop off, and then you also showed up so you could watch the tower fall in real time. You actually wanted to be there to watch the destruction. So the Epstein files have revealed his close ties with Epstein, who were connected with the leaders of the CIA and Israel's defense and intelligence services. We know exactly who told Lutnick's firm about what was coming, but we don't know exactly who told him. So that's part we don't know, but we do know this. It's a big club and we're not in it. Here's a report about the put options that came out years ago. So if you guys were paying attention, like I knew about the put options. I tried to talk to people way back in 2005 about that. Nobody wanted to talk about it. You know who did? Jason Bermas. He made that film, Loose Change. It's in Loose Change. Jason Bermas knew. He said, look at this. Look at all the money being made. Well, here's a report that aired about 10, 14 years ago. And then you'll see the Trump bringing this up with Lutnick just a couple days ago, and the smile on the guy's face, the conniving smile.
To Cantor Fitzgerald, brokers and bankers in the days leading up to 9/11, they themselves were buying these airline puts. They told me, based on rumors that were coming out of Alex Brown associated with Buzzy Krongard. So this looks to me as if CIA insiders knew enough about what was going on, but chose to make money rather than blowing the whistle.
He literally watched the plane go into the building, go into the World Trade Center. Amazing story. That alone is an amazing story. He was delayed because his wife insisted that he finally, after years, take his...
Well, it's so funny. He's smiling. He's laughing. What the F is going on?
Yeah.
What?
Child to school. So he took his child to school that one day, because normally he would have been in the building at 6 o'clock in the morning. That's that business, right? So you owe your wife a lot and your child a lot, right? But his wife insisted that he take his child to school. For 5 years, he didn't do it. He was horrible. What kind of a father was he? Okay, I'll do it. And he was therefore driving down at 8:43, whatever the time was, down the West Side Highway, and he saw the plane go into the side of the building. He said, wow. And he occupied the top 3 floors of the World Trade Center, of the one building of the World Trade Center, and you know what happened there. He lost 100% of the people in that, his whole company was there.
There it is. There it is. And he's saying it right out loud and exactly at the time. And I want to point this out. Nayland, thanks for reminding us about this. The exact part of the Epstein files right at 9/11 has been redacted, gone. Right leading up to 9/11 and right after, all gone. All gone.
You know, it'd be a good time for me to say this is my Dominic Enrico Calia, who is my cousin, right? Was a municipal bond broker at the Cantor Fitzgerald and one of the employees who died on September 11th, 2001 in the World Trade Center.
My God.
He was 40 years old, my cousin, when he died, right? And it says he's, 3 kids, and they were very, very young when this happened. It was really hard showing up to his funeral too, because he was a coach and all the kids from all the sports team were there. It was a really big thing, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know. Like, I did hear that rumor. I don't know how much it was true. I don't know if he was the guy that talked about it, but they confirmed when I heard this too as well, because I didn't pay attention to the story, but when hearing him say, oh, he had to take his kid to kindergarten, it was like, oh my God, that was the story we were told. That's the story we heard. I'd like to get more information on it, but it's something that you have a hard time opening up and talking about it. I think it was the 101st floor he was on when the plane hit. It was, they found, I think, this part of his leg down to identify through DNA. So he was killed upon impact, body torn apart and whatnot. But, all these guys just conveniently not showing up that day.
Yeah.
I mean, it tells us what we already pretty much knew. They knew, and they let people die because they made a ton of money off this whole situation.
Yeah. Well, I'm at least recognizing that the climate is different, that we're allowed to actually talk about this now. We weren't. I started talking about this when I saw Loose Change. I mentioned Jason Bermas. You guys, he was the original. This team, it was Dylan Avery, Jason. These guys, they did this honest. They put this thing together. They didn't even mean to do it. They were doing a class assignment for their college. I think they were. It was like a hypothetical. What if 9/11 was an inside job? You guys remember that was the language. It was 9/11 was an inside job, and that was what you got called a conspiracy theorist about. Well, we're done with inside job. We're talking about we've been captured. We've been hijacked.
Yeah.
That's what we're really, and I have to say, we can actually talk about this now, not just because of the Epstein files drop, but I think that people might be more willing to have a conversation about us being duped by an outside entity, because guess what? They were already told we were duped by an outside entity. They were told it was Iraq, Afghanistan, Taliban, people that want death to America. That's what they were told. So it might actually be easier, and I'm not telling you guys this too, it might be easier to bring this up with people that told you to shut up 10 years ago because they said, it's not, what do you think, your country's capable of doing this to its own people? Like, yes and no, but are you already believe that a foreign country's capable of doing this to us? We're just going to show you it wasn't the one you thought it was. It was the other guy that we're told to be our greatest ally on the planet.
But let's be perfectly honest, it wasn't a country just duping us, that we had to play a part in.
Absolutely.
This. So it's like, we're just as guilty as the ones pulling the strings. So,
but remember, the people that called out of work were a very particular type of people.
Gotcha.
Just want to be clear about that.
They were non-goyim.
They were non-goyim who happened to get the text. And I'm not just saying get the text. They had a very high, Ryan Christian talks about this. Yeah. There's a very high like ability of this tech that was available. We didn't know anything about it at the time, but they all had it worked into this secret network where they could get messages nobody else was getting.
Yeah.
So there you go. And then, so I think it's actually, the more information we learn, you on one hand you could say, oh my God, who's going to believe us now that we have all, it's so diabolical, it's worse than we ever thought.
Yeah.
However, people are willing to have this conversation now because they feel that we've been infiltrated in a way that it's so devastating that it goes well beyond when we thought it was just Dick Cheney trying to make some money with Halliburton.
Yeah.
We didn't know it was, no, it's much worse.
Yeah.
It's much worse than Halliburton got a few contracts.
Like it is. Like I said, the fear is that they just, we handle ties with the Zionist nation and everything goes back to normal. That's not the case. It's working hand in hand.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And entities are just making so much money. Like I said, when you start talking about wars, you're talking about moving around soldiers. You have to feed those soldiers. You have to clothe those soldiers. You have to give them places to go to the bathroom in, unless you're on an aircraft carrier.
Yeah.
And you just do it over the board. But I mean, there's so much more money to be made, than just the bombs being dropped. It's a whole scam. It's a racket. And there's so many people involved. So,
yeah. Well, it's just to circle it back to the Epstein files. They're all in on it. They're all protecting each other. It's not 9/11 is just one scam. All the other scams were also, they were thought of in this space of elites, these people that thought that they could do whatever the F they want. The planning of the pandemic, even the planning of the Ukraine war. Where's their opportunity for us? Not just financial, but let's harvest some organs. Let's get some more child trafficking going. I mean, they looked for every opportunity and they mocked us the entire way. And the media went along with it. The media is just as responsible for silencing victims 10 years ago, making Pizzagate sound like it was a complete, just a complete lunacy idea when they knew that we had this information. We knew about the Epstein files 10 years ago. We knew about that. And now more than ever, we know that it's connected to all these other things that they labeled us conspiracies at. And I'll just leave with this on this segment, because you guys saw that New York Times. I know a lot of you, I saw some comments. You guys you couldn't believe the New York Times would report on that pedophilia is not actually a thing that we should be upset at. We should be nurturing of it, because it's just a thing. It's a thing. It's a mental condition.
Yeah.
Like we treat it. We just say, hey, you're still welcome. You're still welcome. We accept you for who you are. No. So that was also part of the psyop and of allowing us to be okay with the things that we're going to see, which we're seeing right now. This just happened. You guys watch this and just understand the fake out is continuing. Anybody watching this and going, oh, I guess that makes sense. No, this is absolute insanity. This doctor is going to tell you of the condition of killing kids. There's a way to look at it where it's actually not that bad, because we recognize how we're all wired differently.
Who's been raped attracted it into their life?
Anytime you're addicted
to
answer
this question. Everybody who's been raped attracted that rape into their life.
1,300 cases of pedophilia.
And the children attracted the pedophile.
You really want to go there? Let's go. All these things that we label good and bad have been labeled good or bad depending on who you're taking sides with.
I have a really hard time with this. If I went home today and somebody was assaulting my wife, I would forcibly stop it.
Probably.
No,
Because you would
not
value...
probably, 100%
Well,
certainly. I wouldn't say maybe this is his belief and this is my belief.
You're going to react in that setting exactly proportioned to your morality at the time. If you see what he's doing as evil, you're going to do what you can to stop him.
But it is evil.
In your perception, it will be.
It's not okay to beat a child to a pulp. It's not okay to sexually assault a child. There is something actually fundamental inside of us that is on a driving force towards life, love, freedom, the experience to live this beautiful world. And if somebody is intentionally interfering with that, we have an obligation to try and prevent or stop it. You can override your impulses. I've wanted to hit somebody and not done it.
You've repressed it inside yourself and then attacked your customers right here in front of me.
I'm attacking you?
Well, you're basically taking information that goes against what you say, and you're saying, I'm just going to refuse to put it on my show because of it. It's like a fight to you. It doesn't match your belief system, so you're ready to fight and attack.
Your hands are shaking.
When you say that you're going to not go any further on a podcast because of what I'm saying,
because
that
fundamentally
means it challenges you and you're wanting to
no,
avoid
because
it.
it's putting out information that I think is detrimental to the world.
I'm not going to pacify my research for any human being on this planet. Nobody. The reality is that there's upsides to that event.
There's upsides to the murder of children?
Yes, there's upsides to it.
I think we're going to have to stop here, John.
Wow.
I saw that too last week, and I was like, holy shit, this is just,
how did we get here? How is this even possible? And the New York Times would probably stand behind this doctor. That's the whole point, right? That's they're telling us, no, there's an
upside.
Yeah. And there's a thing we have to be accepting, right? Remember the whole accepting and where people are, how you identify all this stuff. And he's saying that there's an upside to this. No, we have to hold the ground on. There's a certain line we will not ever cross.
I don't think the murdering of children needs to be written to in gospel, any type of Abrahamic religion, for all of us to understand that it's wrong. The raping of children, there's no upside to it. It is wrong. And, once again, I don't need it written down on a piece of paper or a script or a scroll to be told that it is wrong. Yeah. We should all know that. And that, unfortunately, a lot of characters like this are out there to blur the lines, to desensitize us, because maybe it might not be child rape where they'll say there's an upside. Maybe it will say there's an upside to killing a certain Muslim. Because now, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you go this far, you reach for the stars, but you hit the moon.
Yeah.
And they're hitting the moon. And they hit the moon every day where they can convince you that it's okay to kill a Gazan child.
Yes, exactly.
Because he's going to grow up to be a terrorist. So there's an upside. You know, see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The raping of him, bad. The killing of him, necessary. There's an upside. That's what they're trying to do. And they've been able to successfully do this right now. Like I said, we've all been desensitized. There is a desensitized plan, propaganda out there to make sure that we are less sensitive or less aware or conscious or caring of what's going on outside of our world, right? You know what I'm saying? So they have used this technique and they've convinced a lot of people he's going to be a terrorist anyways. Did you see one of the pictures where a guy's talking, a white guy in America who's actually anti-Zionist, anti-Israel, is talking to an Israeli soldier, and the Israeli soldier is like, oh, we leveled it, boom, and he takes out a picture, and he has a picture of a young kid, Gazan kid, with a gun, holding his gun, right? Well, this is part of that rhetoric too, as well, where they get there and say it's justified to kill him before he kills me and my family. So this technique, unfortunately, is not used just by this character. It's used by the social engineers who are engineering the way we live in our society.
Man, unbelievable. This is okay. So we'll stay on this, but my God, this is the whole room. They're all in the room. They're all in it together, and it's one big club. And we ain't
it.
All right, guys. You want to do our next story right now? We got
whatever. I got Les left me some good chai over here. Thank you so much. Enjoying the chai over here. A little cinnamon.
Yes.
I can't even say that word. Cinnamon. Cardamom, and all those good Indian flavors.
Awesome. Enjoy that. And you guys, we're just gonna go right into our next one. We have an Erica Kirk and Candace update for you right now, and then we're gonna do us a little talking back with you guys. I want to throw this up again because I saw the super sticker. That's really cool. Thank you so much, Ava Session 7X. We really appreciate that. That's always cool when those come up on our YouTube channel. And of course, the Rumble rants are also awesome. And we had one earlier. I'll throw that one up again. This is Bronx comrade, any congressional outrage about American citizens murdered by Israel in the West Bank? No.
Because there's an upside to that.
Yeah.
We're killing future terrorists that will be here not only to murder the Israelis, but death to America, they say. So there's an upside to killing those kids, those women and children, throwing them out on the streets, colonizing the West Bank. There's an upside.
All right, guys, on to our next story. This is we played the trailer for you guys on Tuesday, but it's actually been released now. The episode 1 is out. What I'm talking about is Candace Owens' new series on Erica
I know
Kirk.
You have Dan Bongino in this.
We are going to get to Dan.
I know you have Dan Bongino.
We're going to get to Dan, but let's just go ahead and play that trailer if you guys missed it. And the first episode dropped today. I guess it's about an hour or just under one. Not honestly, I'm going to say I thought it was going to be more filmmaking-ish, like more like like we like to do here with our documentaries, but it's a lot of Candace talking, but she is sharing information, and it seemed to not hit people very well. I think she knew that was going to happen. We knew that was going to happen, but for those who don't know about it, it's called Bride of Charlie. Here's the trailer, and then we will tell you what happened next after it dropped.
President Trump says that Kirk has died after he was shot from a nearby building.
After being shot at Utah Valley University.
The great and even legendary Charlie Kirk is dead.
The cries of this widow will echo around the world like a battle cry.
I didn't even get to give him a kiss goodbye.
That young man, I forgive him.
Take your time.
Erica Kirk has been named the new CEO of Turning Point USA.
My husband's dead. I'm not trying to be morbid, but he's dead.
It's weird to say excited.
Describes her husband's funeral as the event of the century. Merch, hats.
We have 50,000 plus hat orders.
Nobody knows why she's out there in a glittering pantsuit in a recreated tent that her husband tragically was murdered in, throwing merch out.
Everyone grieves differently, so if someone's acting weird, don't read into that.
Zionists, the Prime Minister of Israel, all lied through their teeth about Charlie Kirk.
Her operation was in Constanta, the epicenter of Romania's trafficking scandal.
Weird conversations to have with a 15-year-old. I'm going to touch your butt.
$8.6 million to their own shell company.
What is going on?
We have nothing to hide. My aunt used to tell me, never do something that you don't want on the front page of a newspaper.
There it is, Bride of Charlie, and it debuted yesterday, episode 1. And right away, people were responding. And you guys, I do recommend you go check it out. I saw some, I didn't see all of it, but I thought it was going to move faster, like I said earlier. Be more of like a filmmaking experience. But I think documentaries these days, just because of Twitter and social media, that people put out these little things, and then a lot of doing what we're doing. Like you could call what we're doing a documentary. That doesn't sit well with me as a filmmaker who actually makes films. This is us sharing and doing journalism, which is cool, but filmmaking, you got to have a little more. But anyways, that's just artistic, preference. Put that aside. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the pushback from this. But here's what happened. Episode 1 debuted, and there's some bombshells coming out. This, according to Project Constitution, she's uncovering Erica Kirk's secret early years. And what's wilder is that anyone expected it was that she was born a male. So that whole thing. I hadn't get to that part yet. I'll look at that. But what got me is this part.
Was Erica born a male?
It's a question mark. Of course. Was she born a male? Because there's these pictures coming up, her interviews from her own mouth talking about how people thought she was a boy. There's a lot of that going on. But that part isn't really for me. But the connection that I was like, oh my gosh, Erica didn't just move to Arizona after the divorce. She attended an ultra elite, ultra weird charter school called Tesseract. What? Literally housed inside a Jewish school named Gan Yaladim Looking Glass School. Yes, Looking Glass. What? You can't make this stuff up. This sounds like a Disney, Marvel, whatever. I don't know. The same name as a top secret CIA project, Looking Glass, right? The alleged time travel program that used stolen Sumerian technology to peer into future. So what is this? And of course, I'm interested. I don't think anybody should. Oh, wait, I don't want to know about that. I want to know what the hell is this? Tesseract itself, named after the time-traveling device in A Wrinkle in Time, founded by the Walton family, Bush family, Monsanto execs, ran by Jewish administrators, shut down for fraud shortly after Erica left. I'm interested in that. I want to know more about that. But a lot of people don't actually want to know about this at all. They're very upset. They're very upset. Here's who you're waiting for. Dan Bongino got so mad. He looked right into the camera because he knows that Candace watches the show every day because she's nothing else to do with her time. So he looked right in the camera. And Dan Bongino, disgraced FBI director, helper, whatever the hell he did, which was nothing next to cash. He's back on his podcast and he's yelling and screaming at people. He's been yelling at his own listeners for asking him questions. Now he's looking directly into the camera and yelling at Candace herself. Check this out.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Go fuck yourself. You demonic fucking scum. For as much as I hate what just happened, I wish ill on no one, and everyone should restrain their emotions from the other side because they are not on our side. Everyone. Once you go down the road of violence, there's no turning back.
Can I just stop it? I do know if anybody
was saying, though, he wasn't saying that directly to Candace there, right? He was saying before that, I think he was saying people out there who are dropping into her DMs saying you killed her, you know, talking about people who were taking the information that Candace was giving them and using it, and then
so he's talking to her
the people who are following, who are going to the DMs.
So but to be clear, who he's not talking to is anybody that was part of the elite cabal who murdered children that he did nothing about when he had a chance to do something about. He's not mad about those people.
Not at all.
He's not mad at those people.
Always someone stronger than you, man. Always. There's a whole lot of people stronger than me. But I'm sorry if the language distracts from you, but I can think of no other New York way to say it than fuck you, motherfuckers. You deserve to feel the little licks of the flames of hell on every inch of your body.
I mean, you would want to think that he had this type of emotion towards the elite.
Yeah, that he covered up.
Pedophile psychopaths, that his job was to look into it.
He covered for him.
And he told us there was nothing to see here. And if there was, and I love that line when he says, oh, if there was something, I would let you know. Yeah. And then Cash Patel, I would have told you yesterday. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that's where we are there. But look, we're looking at a woman who has shown, and I know, and I get it, Craig, like there's other things going on too, but I think that this case exemplifies how corrupt our system is, that you can have an FBI director and his partner look you in the eye and tell you there's nothing to see here. And this random person with that shitty fake ass text messages that they all made up, that's the evidence, and that nobody's mad about this, that Erica Kirk, she needs to be investigated. And I'm glad there's a series about it right now. This is somebody who at the event, at the Trump event, State of the Union, this is her getting called her name out. Watch this person. This is somebody who you need to look at. Looks to me like a complete sociopath.
His wonderful wife, Erica, is with us tonight. Erica, please stand.
Just going through the motions of emotions. That's what sociopaths do. Do you see that? That's a sociopath doesn't know. She's just imitating. It's called imitation. None of that is real. None of that is real. I mean, look at this. So this is a very this is a good analogy. Erica Kirk has to be a sociopath, right? If I think of an PCA commercial, I could cry in command. She has What is this? Yinra's mom, a black hole of pain beside her. Okay, so this is, and she's she's cool as a cucumber. Here is what actual grieving looks like, by the way, for future reference. And these are the people that actually lost somebody that were sitting right in the same room with her. This is what crying actually looks like.
A dozen times and was released through no cash bail. Stood up and viciously slashed a knife through her neck and body. No one will ever forget. There were people on that train. No one will ever forget the expression of terror on Irina's face as she looked up at her attacker in the last seconds of her life. She died instantly. She had escaped a brutal war only to be slain by a hardened bail.
See, there's Erica right next to her.
Stood up and vicious.
Right next to her. And that was the bus. Remember the bus incident?
No, it was the train.
Yeah. So that's a real reaction. So I'm just saying, look, I'd want to see this thing. People are trying to figure out why the sudden anger on, I mean, they've been angry at Candace all the time, but there seemed to be a coordinated effort. And I'm going to get to this coordinated effort in just a second. But first, let me just play this. This dude kind of nails it as far as like it wasn't just Dan Bongino. They all went after her like instantaneously, like it was done in advance. So this is let me show you what this is. This is actually a funny take on the Bonginos and the others as they came out just with arms flaring, just ready for how dare you make a movie? How dare you make a series about this? How dare you?
Do you see Candace's new episode today on the history of Erica Kirk? Oh my word, she has gone too far. I don't know about you, but it lived up to the hype because Graham Allen said that she should be taken out because she's a devil. Ben Shapiro said that she is evil scum. And Dan Bongino, wants to torture people or something? Torture her? Dan Bongino's real mad, guys. It's the most disgusting thing that he's ever seen in his life. Definitely not the Poopstein documents. Those aren't disgusting. This is the most disgusting thing he's ever seen in his life. And of course, he said that before it even came out. So I don't know how that could even be that, but whatever. It was disgusting. She talked about where Erica was born, the date of birth, her parents, the family tree, when her parents got married or maybe didn't get married, some discrepancies in some documents. Oh my gosh! Disgusting! How could she do that? How could you possibly investigate a person who has basically tried to anoint the next president of the United States that happens to be the head of a multi-million-dollar or perhaps even $1 billion corporation? Why would anybody want to know anything about that person? Did I say corporation? I meant tax-exempt nonprofit that happens to be heavily involved in the most powerful government the world has ever known and the most significant nation on the entire earth.
Yeah, great point. Great points. Why so mad at just something that would look pretty interesting? I don't know how you could take anybody else out there who was completely innocent and have such amount of content that Candace seems to have on this person. Even just the curiosity's sake about just Erica alone and her how she got to the position she was, how she was able to morph and maneuver and morph all over the place. And like when he's mentioning about the coordinated attacks, and it seems that Bongino was attacking her for this film before it even was released. So again, these are coordinated attacks, and we're not just making that up. We know that's how it works. We know that the influencers from Netanyahu sitting down, giving them $7,000 per attack. This actual attack on Candace was leaked, and we got this. And I want to give credit to who found it. This is from Diligent Denizen, who's been doing some remarkable work. Diligent's the same one. He's the one who went down the Thomas Massie rabbit hole as well with the Freemason stuff. So I wanted to give a shout out to Diligent. But yes, this is a paid influencer smear campaign against Candace, and the sheet has been leaked. Okay, so remember when I pointed out that there was a certain X accounts that would activate when we covered sensitive topics. Thanks to, I guess, Matt Wallace covered this, I guess. But we now have proof of how they coordinate against journalists like Candace, myself, and others. Be careful who you follow. Here's a screen video of the actual of the sheet that was leaked. Here it is, so you guys can see. Turn that volume off. So you have use these words: demonic, right? Candace is a demon. So this is the pecking, the talking order. These are the instructions. So she's not asking questions. So you have to repeat. And they're saying quote or reply to this, share and guide. So they give you the whole instruction. So somehow that leaked, and we're seeing this is exactly what ended up happening. Here's the actual breakdown. So these are a leaked internal email from Turning Point USA, instructs staff to label Candace Owens as evil and demonic and to flood social media with that framing. And then Bongino repeats the exact language on air. Call it what it is, but it's called coordinated messaging. And here you go. These are the verified words, and you can see the first ones here.
Mm-hmm.
There's Graham Allen on there. You got these, yeah.
Gunther Engelman.
Gunther's on there. And look, these are what they're doing. They're verifying that they're following instructions exactly. Evil has to be stopped. Pure evil. This is straight up. So they're going through the evil board, and then we'll get to Bongino on the next page. Look at that. You demonic scum. So do it in a rant about the series, which we played a little bit of the rant there. And then here's some others doing it. Obviously, Laura Loomer. Can't forget Laura Loomer. Candace is an evil woman. Evil as Islam. Oh my God. So we're not just speculating here, guys. We know that there's instructions, top-down instructions. This is the kind of stuff Netanyahu brags about when he sits down with his influencers and tells them this is how we're going to do it. We got to get TikTok next. We got to get Twitter. We got to nudge Elon. So this is an example of how that's done. They're not just waking up and all deciding the same thing at the same time. They're actually opening their email on whatever thing they're on, and they're getting their instructions in order to get their pay. That's what they're doing. It's pretty remarkable. But I'm interested in this. I know I get it. I know not everybody is, but to understand that there is something here to look at. There's some as far as the corruption, the Turning Point machine that seems to have been in place to take Charlie out before they took him out. They had these accounts being set up. They were funneling the money. He didn't even have any idea that was happening. Yeah. I mean, that alone is worth a documentary. And so I just so the fact that Candace is making this, I say go for it. Look, I'm gonna check this thing out. That first episode, I recommend you guys take a look too if you have some time. But yeah, make no mistake, there are people that do not want you to see this, and they're pretending to be angry for somebody making a little film series and giving you information. And then it's your job to decide whether it's valid or not, or whether it's worth your time or not. But it's good that somebody's doing it. So I applaud Candace for doing it. Okay. As we see, there are certain people that
I like to know. I really necessarily like to know people get to investigate Hampton on who killed Malcolm X, on who killed a lot of other people before we find out who killed Charlie Kirk. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not buying into this whole thing. It feels like they're trying to lionize the guy. It wouldn't surprise me if they did take him out, whatever the case may be. There's so much energy being put in this, people doing shows all the time talking about this. There's a whole list of 3 million pages of things we can investigate and what people are doing. I just have no interest in this whatsoever. I really do not. I'll pay attention as it comes, but the way that people are fixated on it, I'm like, no way. Okay. No way. I get it, but I'm just not there. I once again, I never looked at Charlie Kirk as a guy who brought people together. He didn't have a rainbow coalition. He wasn't about pushing peace. He told the same fucking lies about Israel all the time. Maybe he was starting to turn. Maybe he was not. I don't know. I'm just not there on this whole
Well, story. You didn't look into it to see that he was turning. That's the point. You said, he's done enough stuff.
No, it's that what he did say and what he was continuing to say, he was still saying that Israel and the West Bank and Gaza is Judea and Samaria. He still had that rhetoric. And even in that article, even in that interview when he all pointed out, he still said, I just want to remind everybody, I am pro-Israel. When he started saying, why aren't we looking to why that was there a stand down order? Did they allow this to happen? Those are the things he was talking about. I get it. I just didn't see what a lot of other people see. And I get it. If you guys want to go look into this, talk about this, go ahead. I just don't, I'm sorry. I think people are over fixated on this whole situation. I do believe it was an inside job. Absolutely. They wanted him out. They got him out. But like I said, I'd rather invest energy and time in finding out who was behind killing Fred Hampton, the people who really were unifying people and bringing people together. I'd like to learn more about what's going on 9/11, where all those people are killed. I'd like to focus a lot more attention and energy on that, but that's just me. So, I mean, to each his own.
So, we are focusing on those. We're focusing on 9/11 for sure. Anything in the Epstein files.
I'm just saying there are people that are uber focusing on this, and I'm not taking anything away from them. That's their choice to do so. Yeah. It just doesn't tickle my fancy. So
look at it like this. You mentioned the 3 million files. We know that the amount of horrible shit that's happened to children and people we will never know about ever. We talk about survivors. We don't talk about the ones that didn't survive. We have the amount of pain and destruction and torture and torment we can't even process it. There's no way to. But Charlie Kirk, at least let's look at it like this. If we can pull the curtain back on somebody that with that much, prominence and is on such a large stage, and we can see the mechanism in place to do what they did and get away with it, and the complexity of that.
But I don't think that
I would say this. Let's give the other victims, survivors, and non-survivors a chance for a comparison and say, if they pull this off with this one guy, imagine all of the other
doing
stuff.
It with other historic famous people. Charlie Kirk is no.
We have an opportunity.
Yeah, and
we're not making.
But what is it going to do if Erica Kirk was involved? It's going to stop there. Are we going to get deeper into what's going on?
Well, yeah, because she was placed there as a
just
honeypot.
like everybody, and that happens all the time.
Okay.
She was not the first honeypot.
Right.
There's honeypots placed
all
the time.
So we have somebody at the level of Charlie Kirk of influence and exposure. The fact that we have all this we have so much information. We have more information on him than any other survivor or victim or any other child that we'll never know about in Epstein, right? Which sucks that we don't. It sucks that we don't know who they all are and that they don't get to be remembered.
Yeah.
It sucks. I think going into Charlie Kirk isn't about him having a legacy that's more, he's such a good guy like Martin Luther King. That's not what this is about.
It's about putting him on shirts with Martin Luther King. That's the lionizing they are.
That's not why this is happening.
That's what's intriguing people to get more involved. They're not going for the reasons that you're saying.
No, they are. They are going the reasons. The conversations I'm having, we're talking to Garland Nixon. We're talking to people that have been interested in this from day one. I know you haven't been interested in this, but the people I'm talking that they're interested because he represents an opportunity for us to see how the system actually works, because he's so visible, because he's so high up in the status that we have access
I think
to
a
so
lot
much that we can use it to measure.
I think a lot of
how dark and deep it goes with everyone else that we don't have access
that was
to.
Concentrating on the whole origins of COVID, the whole origins of the virus and stuff like that. Energy's been taken away from that and fucking focused on putting it over here. It seems like just reshuffling of energy. I wish that energy was still there. When we start talking about the things in COVID that are not being talked about, that are not looked at or investigated on, it bothers me that this stuff is getting the energy that should have 10,000 times full. I don't know. That's the way I'm looking at it. I apologize.
Well, unfortunately today you're in the Homeless Left studio here in LA, and what we do here is we cover everything. We do
good chai tea.
We do, we provide the good chai tea, and we cover everything. We don't run out. We do 4 or 5 hour show, and if we don't get to it in time, we do it on next week. And you guys know we do this. It's all connected. We don't run out of bandwidth. We make fun of these politicians that quote unquote run out of bandwidth and they can't process it. They only have so much room in their hard drive. Guess what? We have unlimited room. So we're not taking away from COVID by covering Charlie Kirk. We're not taking away from 9/11. We're not taking away from Iran. What we're doing is we're covering all of it.
I'm just saying the overall energy, not from you, but from what we see on the intrawebs is being kind of sucked away.
You and I have covered COVID from the beginning, right?
Yes.
You've had the platform. I didn't have the platform, but I was covering it in a small way. But the point is that the people that we attracted were people that could give a shit about us being captured by Israel, this or that. They don't want to know about that. But if we're doing the work on Charlie Kirk and saying maybe he started asking questions and then this thing turned on him, then we take that into the space with these medical freedom movement doctors. We take it into the space and the Brett Weinsteins, right? The one.
Make sure you get some comments. You should start starring some comments because we have talking back. People who will give us maybe have some perspective that will say, Pasta,
you know what
Matt is trying to say, and you know what I'm saying? Like those are important because I'm sorry, I'm gonna admit right now, I can give two shits about it. I really doesn't. It doesn't. Once again, there's another good one. Look at that. But look at your live comments. See if people say Pasta. It is important. Maybe I'll get a text from Fred Edward. Maybe I'll get a text from Gabrielle. Maybe I'll get a text from somebody. Maybe you throw it up there.
You know what?
Those live comments.
Are you ready? You want to just jump into talking back, and we'll just
no hit the live comments.
Hit the live comments. Okay, here we go.
You have more.
Oh, this is great. This is great. Okay, we got some super chats. Thanks so much. Is it Cake the Noon? What is it? Yes. thank you so much.
Cake at noon.
Cake at noon. Thank you for the super chat. The breadth and depth of the wisdom and historical info you're dropping here is invaluable.
Talking about me right now.
Oh yeah, well that's the thing. This is
looking sharp, guys.
Yeah, looking sharp. Appreciate your tireless work. We appreciate you too, and that's why we're here. We're here to do the work, and we're here to have the conversation.
I'm gonna peek over here too while you're looking over there.
Okay, you do the peeking, and we got another one from Citizen. Do your part, Matt. Bring Tony in. Okay, you know we have, and you know we will again. He's talking about Anthony Aguilar. We definitely got a chance to have Anthony on, but we need to have him discuss how he got, I guess, attacked. I don't know if you saw the whole interview, Craig. If you saw the Huckabee interview with Tucker and its extent, but there was a particular moment, and our viewers know this because we covered this. There was a particular moment where Huckabee interrupted Tucker out of nowhere because he was told top-down orders, you have to get this in at some point. He smeared Colonel Anthony Aguilar and then blamed Tucker, said, you platformed this guy, and he was lying, and then he made up a lie about a story that Aguilar told about a little boy being killed in front of him.
Yeah.
And Huckabee was like, I want you to know that that's bullshit, and Tucker pushed back. So
I'd like to see that.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, well, we've covered it a couple times now. Maybe we can time it. We can get him back on because I want him to respond, and he hasn't gone on too many shows yet because this just happened. But yeah, the fact that my first take on it, and thank you so much for this, Citizen. We do feel like we're close now enough with Tony that we can follow up with him on this topic for sure since he's been on already. And he is running third party, by the way, with third party in North Carolina.
That's
How
awesome. That's awesome.
How awesome.
Yeah.
He's aligned a little bit with the We the People, little bit, I think. I don't know if not officially. He's aligned with Kelly Lane.
Yeah, Kelly's in the chat now over there.
Yes.
Kelly very much agrees with you on this and disagrees with me. So you know what I'm saying.
Well,
people we respect and love.
Okay, well, we'll get to the rest. We'll get to the comments, and thank you for being here.
Bongina.
Thanks, Kelly, for getting my back. I'm gonna throw your comments up.
I remember that, Kelly. I will remember. You gotta hit that live.
Yeah, so we're gonna get this. We did there's another one from Citizen. Dan Bongina.
China.
Bongina from China.
Bongina.
Dan Bongina. Very cool. Thanks so much. Yeah, I appreciate you, man. So much.
And then he says he'll let Jay be the tiebreaker. Look at this.
Dude, we tried. Citizen, we tried. I believe me. We did do a segment with you, me, and Jay. And I think
Jay kind of leaned towards me. He thinks it was
he didn't.
Yeah, he did. He thought it was more Babylonian, more of the Vatican that's pulling strings. That part we were talking about.
He was saying let's keep the discussion going beyond just blaming Israel for everything. And I know you agree with that part, but he certainly wants to get to the bottom of this.
Of this one.
Yes.
But I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about who was pulling the strings. But he had even said he thinks it's more about the Vatican and Babylonian. So he was more agreeing with me than, but we again, we don't want to disregard it.
But you're like yawning at Candace's work, and he's not.
I am yawning at Candace's
You're
work.
yawning while Jay and I are looking into it. That's what's going on here.
Yeah.
Craig's
I am completely yawning at fucking Candace Owens.
Okay.
I am. And her fucking talks about the Bolshevik Revolution. You know I'm yawning at that shit.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we appreciate
Kelly. You love me too. Too late, Kelly. I remember that.
No, she loves it.
You Judas. You traitor.
Oh man.
Go up. There's a couple good ones.
Okay.
Up there.
All right.
People say.
I had a little flow here, but now okay. Where you want to go? You want to go to okay. Yeah, we did this one. Yeah. Okay. Where do we go?
There's a couple comments right there.
Yeah, I can't get to all.
Pasta right here. So somebody's yelling at me.
Okay. You want to? Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Well, maybe we should read it all the time.
Okay. Well,
Pasta, you're an ostrich with your head in the dark.
In the
while
dark.
Deep State and Genocide Nation run around you, going after those around you whose politics you would disagree with.
Oh, well.
Thank you, I guess.
Thanks for the.
She's sending you a clip.
I can't get. Yeah, Kelly, I can't get.
All right, so revolting the villager right there. Right there.
Okay.
No,
yes,
above it.
yes.
Yeah. 'Tis the season for conservative lunacy. They sure did a number on the liberals. I bet this will be pretty bad. Well, I don't know if she was talking about the conservative lunacy of what we see going back on with the back and forth with the Trump with the Candace situation.
Oh, I like this one. This look, this is important. Yeah, Trump's a pedo. What is next? Well, and again, like that's a horrible thing. If this checks out, which it looks like there is definitely some stuff they're covering up of some actual crimes he committed against underage women. But like, is there anything about him eating any? I don't know. But like, I'm just saying, let's not stop the conversation at is Trump a pedo or not?
This is something that you've been talking about. This and listen, once again, and I look at the situation and I talk about that Skippy video, which the Skippy video just fucking, it really fucking shook me. I didn't want to look into this stuff. Is there satanic ritual killings, feedings, eatings, sacrifice, whatnot? Those are the things that if we understand that is really taking place.
Yes.
And that's what I think a lot of what the Epstein whole saga is about. It's not so much about just pedophilia and sex trafficking. It's fucking sacrifice.
Yes.
And if it is alien food, the way Ronald Barr's book talks about, is Donald Barr, which is Bill Barr's father, then, Captain Austin Fitz talks about it. People coming in, interdimensional beings coming in, evil people. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there.
There's a lot of stuff there. And if people are wanting to stop the conversation, and this is why I come on, listen, I assure you it's better that we're talking about stuff and not looking at that we're being distracted. We have to talk about everything as much as we can. We have 24 hours in the day. We should be talking as much as possible about all this, because it all comes back to the idea that the people that don't want to talk, they are the ones that get red flag. People like Bill Maher, we're going to get to that later, by the way, the Bill Maher thing. People like Bill Maher, they want to admit on one hand, okay, maybe QAnon was right. On the other hand, he's going to shut down the conversation if somebody wants to talk about the word pizza. He doesn't want to hear about it.
Yeah.
And that right there tells me that Bill Maher does not want to talk about. He has no interest.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to compare you to Bill. I'm saying when we become someone, I have no interest in that. It becomes like, why not?
Yeah.
Why does Bill Maher have no interest in talking about what does pizza mean? Do you think Jeffrey Epstein is ordering Domino's for the richest people in the effing Rothschilds are coming across the globe and you're ordering cheese pizza do you actually think that? No, he doesn't. But that's why we know, right?
Play that one. D keys 9-3 down. Oh, right there. Yeah.
All right, this D.
That one. There you go.
All right.
I'm following this case for entertainment purposes only. The point is being I agree with Pasta, as there's so much way more important cases to investigate and put one's energy into.
And I appreciate that. And I'll just throw this out. If you're new to the channel and you're following us, we appreciate you. We do these extra long shows because we actually try to get to everything. We don't want to take away from other stuff. So we will give you a little, a breakdown of everything.
I think I found somebody to replace Kelly Lane now. And, D Key is her. No, just kidding. I love you, Kelly. You're irreplaceable.
No, Kelly's amazing.
I love Kelly.
Yeah,
she's amazing.
Yeah, we're gonna have a follow up with Kelly soon. I don't know how to say. I can't play Kelly. Just so you know, I cannot play.
Send it.
She sends to me on the what is it called, Telegram. I can't play from there. It takes me a long time. Just so you know, because I can't do that while we're live. That's why I always ask that we have stuff in advance, because
in a doc.
Or just even if it's a Twitter, I know you don't, it's probably not on Twitter, that's why, but like even sending to me on a text is better, because I can do that right from my my iMac.
But I can't. Do we have on the YouTube, by the way?
Okay,
72. Yeah. Come on, guys, like and share.
Just stop obsessing with the numbers.
I'm sorry.
We're okay.
Help us out. Okay. Like, share.
We're fine. We're good. We okay. So dude, I wanted to get to some of these other ones. Man, this is a lot happened. Okay, but we appreciate all your guys'. Oh wait, we go have one more from Citizen. I knew it. Man, this guy is on fire. Thank you so much. I gotta give one more up here. Here we go.
Donald Barr did write a book about alien slaves.
He did.
Children being slaves to aliens for food and sex.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Donald Barr, and this is when he gave Epstein his first job at that school. Donald Barr was his first boss. And he had written a book about sex slaves for aliens.
Okay,
children being sex slaves for sex and food.
I mean, there's so much there to unpack. And I guess the sign is if people that don't want to look into it and want to say there's nothing there, that's just suspect to me. I want to look into it. I want to spend every minute of the day being as diligent as possible, getting into this stuff and trying to figure out how to connect the dots. And we do this so we can have these honest discussions. And when new stuff comes up, we look at it and we go, oh, maybe we need to look back and reassess. A good example of that, I'll just say this, a good example, because we had Don on earlier. Don DeBar was on with us, and I remembered that he and I covered the Trump assassination attempt in real time. If I can go back now, there's new information available. I go, oh, we had that wrong, but it's totally cool. There's nothing. We work with what the information we have, but we never stop looking into shit. We look closer. We go, wait a minute, that looks like it could have been the entire thing was one big false flag psyop operation. That's what it looks like. We couldn't tell at the time. We said, oh, this is a moment right here where he was supposed to be eliminated, and then he survived it, and then they captured him. That's what I thought. But this is why we do what we do. We don't stop, because we can inform ourselves with new information.
I got you.
Look back. Okay, so you guys know how we do this. You guys know. But I don't think we should run out of bandwidth. I think we should have enough. We should have enough.
I got you.
Storage space where we can go. Let's go look back at this. Okay. Do you want to go on to the next story? Or do you want to do some more?
Are we doing talking back?
Yeah, but I wanted to play the intro and everything, but you had me jump into it. You had
go.
Dude, you F up my thing.
You have an intro of talking back with pasta.
I don't have you on one yet.
Okay. All right.
That's why you didn't want.
That's what I'm saying. I just knew there wasn't one with me.
I didn't
do the talking back with less one, because we could send a
no, she's not. She'll be at the next one. She'll be at the next
Gotcha. So what's your intro then?
I have just my own. I have a little intro. You want to do it? Okay.
Come on.
All right. There we go. Right. Talking back with Matt and Pasta today. You guys have been giving us some awesome super chats. We've been trying to get through them earlier, but we know there's a lot of comments backed up from this show. We're talking about this. What do we call the show? Information overload. Wow, doesn't it feel like we're kind of overloaded right now with information? So it's like it's hard. We break this stuff down little at a time. We were covering the Iran stuff, the State of the Union. We had Don DeBar on discussing that, how we've just this war president has just been out of control, and we're right at the cusp of World War III. At the same time, the Epstein stuff isn't going away. People are waking up to that. That's happening in real time. We kind of got off a little thing with the Charlie Kirk. Candace Owen dropped a little mini doc. The first episode dropped yesterday. There's a lot of online attacks and coordinated efforts, and we know how that works, guys. So yeah, there's a lot happening here. We so it's been in studio here in LA. Having Craig here, it's been pretty awesome. So let's go ahead and get to some of your guys' stuff. We did, like I said, we read the super chats and Rumble rants earlier. Let's just jump back up to the top, and anything else comes in, we'll get right to it, guys, because we do appreciate when you guys do that for us. Yeah, and we got into the little 9/11 stuff. People are starting to wake up about that right now. Pasta, they're saying, oh, maybe we had that wrong. I don't know if you saw Cenk Uygur was one of those people.
I did see Cenk Uygur now make a post and stuff like that.
Yeah, and, he never said I'm sorry, so we couldn't do a apology.
I changed my assistance.
Yeah, he didn't say that I contributed to effing with people when I shouldn't have. But hey, just by saying, oh my God, let me look at that again. I like that. I think that's cool. More people need to be doing that. I think they are. I certainly think they are. Yeah. Okay. So we didn't start these, so bear with me, guys. We'll try to get the ones that jump out at us here. I got to do it with the mouse here. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, we had some really cool super chats from Citizen. You always come through for us. Oh yeah, look at that, Jungle Jer. Wait, not a split screen? No split screen today. That's why we set up the 2-shot. We are sharing a mic. I hope that's work. I hope you guys are hearing.
Yeah, I think that's working.
We kind of had a setting.
Somebody would say something.
Yeah, so we do appreciate that. Yes, let's see. We got thank you guys all from YouTube and on. Oh, we got Shadow Walker coming in here. Let's see here. We got some other regulars. Oh, this is funny. If I do not wear a suit, what am I to you? That's funny. Thank you for that. That's pretty cool. Okay. What else we have here? This is where we're trying to come up with that name at the top of the show. Remember, Pasta, we were saying
normies.
Well, that's the thing. So normies was a term that the burner community used back in the day. This is obviously pre-COVID, because if you guys don't know, if you guys have ever heard of the burner community, They totally got infiltrated during COVID completely. So the people that were like, we're spiritual, we look at things, we understand the intergalactic construct of the universe, we do these peyote trips and we figure out, we open our minds. These are the people that were told they literally had pharma reps coming into the burner community and telling them to lock down, wear 6 masks, and excommunicate anybody that thinks otherwise. And they were like, wait, what? So these were like the Mickey Willis people, the people that were like, whoa, hold on. I'm not saying, don't mark my words. I'm not saying Mickey was officially a burner or anything. I don't know.
Burner.
But I don't know if he called himself a burner, but he was in that community.
Yeah, he was.
And he was one of the people, along with many others, that were told, get out. And you're like, what? I thought we were the people that did this stuff. So the term normies is what they called people who didn't approach life that way, that open-mindedness, the ability to think outside the box. So maybe we should take that name back and say, we're the new burners now, the conspiracy theorists that were right this whole time. And the burner community doesn't really exist, not in the way they did. They all got like 20 shots in their arms. So they're not even able to tap into their shit anymore because they're totally all drugged up on pharma. So that's the problem there. Yeah. But maybe we should take the normie and throw it right at them and say, oh, you're still a normie. And we should say still. That's a good one because it gives them room to improve, right? We're not calling you a name. Let's do that. Let's say, oh, you're still a tribalist. Oh, you're still a normie. Or the other term that woman used, I forgot in that opening. But yeah. But let's be let's not talk down to people. Let's say, hey, oh, you're not ready. You're just not ready yet. Yeah. Okay. See anything? If you see anything, let me know. I'll throw it up there. Yeah, maybe thanks for this, Friendly Brilliant. Maybe the difference between us and the brainwash is we aren't locked into a political party mindlessly. That's correct. We're not locked into a party. We're not locked into a team, a tribe, whatever you want to call it, a cult, whatever you want to call
principles?
It. Yes, that's how principles are something you apply when it's inconvenient, not just when it helps your team or your tribe or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Okay. What is this? I don't know what this means, but I guess ICE and law enforcement do your job and be safe and protect. Okay. Thanks for that. I guess I don't have any.
I have to get a tissue because
Okay, go.
I'm coming 2 seconds.
Okay. Okay, that's fine.
We don't have any tissues close.
I didn't bring something over here. No,
I'm so sorry.
Well, that's unfortunate. Okay, no worries. Oh, now I went blurry again. Oh man. Sorry. Oh look, a muggle. That's what it was. A muggle.
A muggle.
Muggle. That's what the girl says. She goes muggle. So the muggle is what she called people that weren't ready to open their minds yet and use their critical thinking skills and all that stuff. That's what we're talking about. So whatever word you're comfortable with, muggle, normie, tribalist, but make sure if you're going to call someone a name, don't talk down to them. Say, oh, you're still that. Don't worry. We're waiting here when you're ready. I think that's the best approach we should take on that. Okay. We'll start getting through some of these other ones. Yeah, Maha, this is Maha wants people dead, it seems. Well, Maha is a failed experiment that thinking that you can get people in a position of political power and that they can be effective in any way and represent their constituents.
Yeah. It was a way to get people to feel that we're mitigating damage to go along with it.
Yeah.
And some people still stick by it, right? There's a person I know who's still, he's praising people getting deported off the streets and taken off the streets by ICE because he went there and he made that leap of faith with Maha, and he's still holding true that this is the lesser of two evils, right?
Yeah.
Maha was all about that. It's the lesser of two evils. We get something for showing our loyalty and our commitment to Trump.
Yeah, 100%.
We get something. And a lot of those people, some of the people who, should have never been on the stage at Rescue the Republicans try to make that same argument, right?
Yeah.
We're getting something for it. At least we're getting Make America Healthy again.
Yeah.
When you're putting in a known Zionist into office that he's going to be loyal to Israel at the end of the day. Yeah. You're doing more harm than good.
And this is why a lot of people told us, do you remember when we interviewed Oh, I was thinking about this the other day. We interviewed Lori Spencer, who was,
I know who she is. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we had that debate, and I thought one of her talking points was, look, we can talk about Zionism, or we can talk about the Maha movement, and we were talking about Israel. She was like, I don't know why you guys are being this one issue voter. When we were calling out RFK Jr. So Longmeadow, thanks for the chat here, Longmeadow. RFK Jr. is more concerned about fighting for felching than fight, or more concerned about fighting for felching than fighting for FDA propaganda. RFK Jr. is only concerned about doing the thing he was put there to do, which is protect the thing that he was supposed to be fighting against, and that includes protecting Israel, which we could tell at every single turn. And we weren't distracting ourselves when we were having that discussion with Lori and others, when we said, no, his Zionism is a problem for Maha. That was the point. And it's not like, oh, that's a separate thing.
When you supported Maha, and people like Lori, and I love Lori Spencer, right? Like, I haven't had a conversation with her in a while, but I got her number. I'll pick up the phone, have a conversation. But I didn't like the fact that she got kind of duped into being somewhat pushing back against, like, jihadists and Gazans and whatnot, because, like, you took up that stance that, it was almost justified. Like, RFK laid out how it was justified pushing back against Gaza. Like, they're the most pampered people in the world. When you kind of got down that tunnel, when you started going down that tunnel, you got really taken for a loop. You got duped into fucking arguing for a position you probably would have never argued for in the first place. But you did that because you made that leap of faith, and you were pushing back against people saying, no, you shouldn't do this, don't do this, but you did it anyway. So it was a tough situation.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, we're not the type to say told you so, but we
told you so.
But yeah, I guess. Hey, your cup's disappearing in the thing. Okay. Yeah, everybody. I love you guys. All you guys are getting this right. Yeah, DNC is false. Oppo. Yep, absolutely.
Well, absolutely. It's occupying the space where a leftist party, a real leftist party would be.
And we all knew that.
Absolutely.
We saw this one.
Same money, same PACs, same shit. Same attitude, same about face. As soon as he got in there, he's not lowering people's taxes. He's raising the everyday person's taxes. He's not going to tax the billionaires. He's going to tax you, and that's what he's doing right out the bat.
And he was happy as a clam when he saw Maduro in captivity.
He fucking talk shit about Maduro, and
he was like, "Hell yeah, we got him, baby." I maybe wouldn't have done it as rough as Trump did it, but I still would have done it. Right?
I wouldn't have blown up boats.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, and Trumpstein elite is the billionaire pedo class. Thanks for that. Appreciate that one. Yeah, we'll get down to some of these other. Well, this is this is the tick. I think we had this discussion with Don, and he said, Don DeBar said that he thought the right was trying to not go to nuclear war, and you were like, well, they're doing it. Is there some sort of mechanism in place? We're seeing this quote. FZ said this. I don't know FZ.
Nuclear war will never happen. It's bad for business.
Don't know who said that, but that the idea is that
what does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
What they're saying is that the more mouths that we have to enslave and working for the system, the more ants working for the hive, the better and stuff. But these people have an ideology where they believe there's too many people on this planet.
Yes, they actually want to get rid of it.
So they would rather just wipe it out, go underneath, come back up years later, and control all the resources. So it's good business for them at the end of the day, because their ideology, their satanic ideology, you know what I'm saying? And they've been open, a lot of these people, about the overpopulation and depopulation programs. So it's good business for them. There's more resources for them.
Yeah. Oh, look at this.
Go ahead.
I like this one. Oh, thank you. This is the Ava Session. Thanks for the I guess that's super chat. Hey, Matt and Pasta, I'm a newbie to your podcast. What are your backgrounds? Well, the Homeless Left, we've been here for a few years now, and we're based here in LA. Had a chance to meet up with Pasta. We were covering the Lahaina fires together. I'm a filmmaker, actor, director, documentary filmmaker. And when I noticed Pasta was doing a documentary on Lahaina, I thought it would be a great idea to just reach out to him because I was working with a team that wanted to go out and do a documentary there as well. And at least just do some interviews and do some stuff where we're connecting the entertainment industry, which, by the way, crumbled. That's why we started the show, because the entertainment industry, they just fell in on itself for a lot of reasons, because they just didn't want to ask any questions They had nothing to say about COVID. They had nothing to say about anything that we've been living through. And they were totally fine with censorship, which we hate as artists, as filmmakers, as journalists. We hate censorship. That's what brought me to this space. Pasha was here already doing this stuff, but I think we aligned on that. If you want to, tell her your background, because you've been doing this a lot longer.
Yeah. Just you can look up the Combo Couch, Truthwire. Been doing this for a long time, and just love doing it.
Yeah, very cool. So, thank you so much, and we welcome to the community. And it's a non-tribal community. We call this the homeless left, but it's you could be homeless from anywhere, wherever you feel like you're no longer part of that team or tribe that was giving you pecking orders and telling you how to check boxes. We're done with checking boxes. The only box you have to check is that you're willing to think outside, using your critical thinking skills, and that we just treat each other with respect. That's really it. There's nothing else on that check box, right? You have to be for this or against it. We don't care. You have your own, bring your own ideology to the table, but just understand that we are more powerful together as a community, but not as a tribe. We'll never tell you to shut up and get in line. We'll never tell you, who else are you talking to? You're not allowed to go over there. You're not allowed to vote for that person. We'll never tell you that. And we'll never blame you for someone you didn't vote for getting into office. That's not a thing. I don't know who came up with that garbage.
Democrats.
Yeah. And who falls for that? That's not a thing. Guys, if you vote for someone or you protest and stay home or you write someone in, you are not responsible for the person who ended up in office. That's not how it works. But you vote against blah, 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 but no, not a thing. Be who you are. Do what you feel like you want to do, and we will still allow you, and we will still be open for you guys to be in our space, because again, we have no boxes we're checking here. Okay. We'll get back to, let's do a few more. I know we always run long when we're doing it. I saw a couple
4 o'clock. It's 4 hours coming up.
Almost there. Yeah, no, this is a good point. We talk about Tucker's also an elite. Yes, we are aware that when we look at what he's doing, we keep that in mind. But if he does something important we will acknowledge the thing.
Well, once again, you got to acknowledge, why is he given the access to do stuff that we've wanted to do for so long?
Yeah,
so many things. He seems just late to the party, but why does he get the permission and the access to do those things?
Yeah.
So it's just an interesting question.
Did you see? There was a clip, I think it was this morning, where he looked in. He was doing his little mini monologue, and he said, "Fox News are the biggest pushers of the Iran war, more than any other."
They are.
And I heard him say that, and we know where he comes from. We know that's where he comes from. But it just, I don't know. Look, again, access or elite, and I get it. But I never would have guessed. I'm just saying, I never would have guessed 10, 20 years ago.
I just want to know
would have that Tucker would ever do that, right?
Okay, so the work that Tucker's doing is good, really decent stuff like that, but it's nothing in comparison to the work that Judge Napolitano is doing, and again, he's happening.
That's 100%.
The judge has 1/12 the followers that he does. There's a reason for that, because what we're doing is we're operating in a system, and this doesn't mean we don't operate in the system, because we have to operate wherever they allow us to go. If Rumble lets us go up, we go up. If YouTube lets us go up, we go up. If they take us down, you can use some other way to get back up. You go and you get back up. You got to do that. But these are controlled environments, because they have to control not just the narrative, but they have to control the reality in which you have beliefs with it. You can't think outside that reality that is given to you. And this is a complete control of those realities, especially the realities outside the United States. Those are the realities they are trying to control. So we have to ask those questions of, why are certain people slipping through now, and why do they get the attention they do get? So I mean, those are good questions.
And I just want to repeat this, because this was one of the talking points from the Dems, that they got people so angry that Trump only listens to his first term. That was a big thing about his first term. That he only listened to who he wants, and he fires you. I gotta say, I don't see that as much anymore. I don't see him firing people. I see him being told what to do a lot more often. And I've seen situations I think this term's a little different than the first one. I think the first one, if he got a problem with you, you were out. We're not really seeing that. Dan Bongino left on his own. He didn't get that, that treatment that a lot of people, Trump did. I don't like what you said. You're out.
There's a reason for that, because this administration, this presidency, unlike the first presidency, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot more doing of things that he said he was eventually going to be against. There's a lot more capitulation to the ruling class. So I think there'll be a lot less firing, because those people that are put in office, this time he was told, you don't pick that person, we're picking it. Marco Rubio is your Secretary of State. Stephen Miller, Pam Bondi, They're you know what I'm saying? They were chosen for him. He didn't get to choose them like he did maybe the first. I don't know if he did, but or who was choosing them. But definitely a different objectives this time around.
Yeah. I like this one. Okay, why do you guys promote Candace? Look, I'm going to be very clear. I'm not promoting Candace. What we're doing is we're saying what she's looking into, we should be curious about. And I saw another, oh man, I didn't pull the clip. Somebody else said this, did a great video. This girl, I forgot, I should have pulled it. She said, I don't have to like Candace at all, but the shit I can also recognize, I don't need her to tell me the shit she's bringing up is important to look at. So I don't actually need her. So if you guys don't like a person, or you're asking why, we're not actually promoting a person. We're looking at an idea or a thing that person happens to say that another person is fully capable of doing it themselves. And it should never be about the person. It should never be about Bernie said something. Oh, yay, Bernie. We never idolize anyone, whether they're running for office or whether they're your favorite podcaster. Never look at it's the person. No. What are they saying? Is it relevant? Is it not? Is it important? Is it not? I don't care who's saying it. I'm going to be just as interested or not as interested. Doesn't matter. Anyway, okay. That's why, by the way. Okay. And yes, thanks, Leo W. The channel here is growing fast, and we do appreciate you guys like really making this go in such a short time, because it is our second attempt at doing this. The first one we got kneecapped. We got kneecapped, but we kept going. We said, you know what? We'll just start it again. Yes. Man, a lot of great comments from you guys. Shoot. Okay. Do you see anything? No, we'll just do a few. We'll do a couple more. Okay. Here comes the incoming false flag set up for war. Oh, we got another. Do we have another false flag coming? Probably. Thanks for that. We appreciate it. Uniparty war. Is that a war within the Uniparty, or is it a fake war? Or it's a Uniparty? Oh, I get it. You're saying that the Iran war is a Uniparty war, because reaching across. Do you guys remember reaching across the aisle used to be a good thing?
Agreeing on wars.
It's not a good thing. Anytime you hear that,
it's agreeing on wars. Yeah.
Reaching across the aisle means they're all in on it. Yeah. It's a scam. It doesn't mean that they're being nice and come on over for Thanksgiving. No, reaching across the aisle means there's a method in place to get them all on board with something.
Coming together to screw you.
Yeah, exactly. That's what that means.
That's the thing you're talking about.
Reach across the aisle. Bullshit. Yeah, for more war. Yeah, good. Very good. Yes, pulling the strings. Israel's killed more Americans than Iran. That doesn't even have to be looked at in deep. That's pretty obvious. I mean, it's like that's enough. Just the USS.
I don't think right. Well, I mean, they'll argue and say Iran, like any type of Shiite proxy, will say they'll automatically say it was on the hands of Iran. Anybody the Houthis killed, will say it's on the hands of Iran. So they have a way of twisting those numbers. They're the biggest sponsor of terrorism, and they are by far.
Yeah. All right. And all set and being said hello to Don, and didn't want to leave us out. Pasta Max. So that was cool. That was a nice little. We'll upload that segment. Don had some really good insight. He really broke it down for us, the geopolitical elements of what's happening right now, because we don't even know, like from day to day, what's going to happen next, and why we're setting all the pieces up for this attack, and it hasn't happened, but it could change tomorrow. That could change overnight. That could change right overnight. I don't know if I agree with this, but it's okay.
Not even close.
Nah. Who would you if you had a choice right now to put on a sign and stick in your front yard?
Judge Napolitano. Let's put him on there.
There you go.
Guy who understands the Constitution, guy who understands the Bill of Rights, guy who understands the law, right?
Yeah.
He's a conservative or right-leaning libertarian, probably because I'm sure he aligns with them and economics where I think different, but definitely a non-interventionist, definitely a person who believes that civil liberties are important. The Fourth Amendment is very important. Due process is very important. So I'd vote for Judge Napolitano now. So
yeah,
I would.
Yeah, guys, great comments coming up in here. We obviously can't get to all of them. I'll do someone said something about a George Carlin. Let's see. I think I just went by. All right. Okay. We're talking about the Epstein stuff. Okay. Oh yeah, not real voting, gangster economy. Yeah, that's true. I mean, sometimes we talk about voting just because we talk about election integrity, and I love the work you've done with election integrity. Boss said that even though we know on one hand, and I don't think this is a contradiction to say on one hand we know that it's rigged and we know that everyone is selected, not elected. On the other hand, we have a principle in play about what our rights are to a democracy and to the act of voting, which in principle, we want to be able to protect that right, even though we know that the thing itself is rigged.
We believe in the marketing. We just know the marketing is not being,
So I think I can do both.
I mean, I believe in it for other countries' national sovereignty than mine.
That's actually a great
point.
point.
What I'm saying?
That's
it's like it's these countries have a right to, I mean, other countries where obviously things are so far down the rabbit hole in the empire. We've been here for so long. The economy, the ties to it, the way it's structured, the system itself. But when you talk about another country, right, where they have limited resources, limited growth, and they want to expand and whatnot, that's something that I think they have a right to. And we shouldn't be telling them what to do. However, our government always does tell them what to do and how to do it.
I got to do this one more time. This was awesome to see this. The breadth and depth of the wisdom and historical info you're dropping here is invaluable. Looking sharp, guys. Appreciate your tireless work, and we appreciate you, Cakeathon. Your cake at noon.
Cake.
I don't want
to have a cakeathon though.
Maybe. Well, if you're going to start eating cake at noon, then I guess
you might have a cakeathon if you want to make it during the day.
Thanks, Cake at Noon. We really appreciate that. Seriously. Yeah, man. Man, you guys just keep going. I can't get to everything, but we'll try to throw a few up later. We do have we'll do one more. Hold on. I'm trying to figure out what the reference. Some of these are very Oh, Kelly. Yeah, well, we didn't give Kelly a little. Yeah, Kelly was saying, I get it. Kirk was very divisive. Thank you, Kelly. Like she's acknowledging both of our sides of it. My daughter hated him. We've argued about it.
It's a good save after she's already, buried me.
Did I? No, I did. Did I miss her other? I must have scrolled by it. Oh, the Bill Maher. Thanks for. Okay, we are gonna do Bill Maher before.
I saw Bill Maher live.
We're gonna.
Tulsi Gabbard was going on. A bunch of Tulsa crats went there.
It's so much worse for me. I didn't see him live.
I like Bill Maher.
This guy is the biggest. Okay,
he's pretty bad.
Look. There was a time, it was in 2012, where I had an opportunity for a job interview for the crew of his show.
Okay. That's awesome.
And I have to admit, I did submit the resume.
It's okay. I would have done it too.
I had the open door.
At the time.
I submitted the resume.
At that time, it should have been,
I remember that feeling of, wow, how cool would it be
if I can go work for Bill Maher?
And I look back at that moment, and I'm glad I'm saying this out loud, because I don't want to like, this is just where I was at the time, right? That you're as a production guy here, like, and I know where he shoots the show right here, and it's in LA, and I'm like, man, what an opportunity to get in that. And I was visualizing it, and thank God that's not the direction. Because I'm gonna tell you, man, if I was in that for whatever reason, that's a nice paying job for whatever reason, you're doing it and you're showing up, and somewhere in that you're like, what the fuck did he just say? And like to have to be in that situation of what is happening here? Yeah. Why is he ridiculing people that said 9/11 is an inside job? He says, get the fuck out of my.
Yeah, it was a big thing with him. You couldn't even eat two people out of his thing.
Yeah. And then you have people like, Glenn Greenwald showing up. Like I could have been there. That was a famous when Glenn Greenwald was there. Never asked back, right?
Ever since then, yeah.
Even Ben Affleck came in and gave him a little history lesson.
Yeah.
He's never been back on either. I mean, I'm just saying, like anybody who goes, wait a minute, Bill, how are you an? And I don't get this shit. This atheism, like how can you be an atheist and be so much like saying all religion's bad, but these guys? I mean, what are you doing? Yeah. How are you able to justify that? Either you're into the religion thing or you're. I don't look. I get it. Atheists started Zionism and Freemasons. I get it, but where are the people? Where are the folks? Why do these idiots like Bill Maher and Sam Harris making atheism look so effing bad, as if you have this obligation to the Zionism part? Yeah. As you're saying,
it's not about religion.
It was never about religion.
It's about
because
culture,
it was never. Yes. It was never about the religion. It was always about how you culture and how you control and how and exceptionalism. It's about superiority and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Supremacy. That's what it really is.
Yeah.
It's not about the yeah. Okay. So
they
they
hate the New York culture. Yeah. If you got the Bill Maher thing, let's play it and get into it.
We'll get it. Yeah, we'll end this and yeah, we'll come back to you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. We have 2 more segments planned. Let's go ahead and I don't know if we can just do it. We can just do it. Okay. I had the other one queued up, but we're gonna end with that. We have a vaccine one to end with. Okay. 2 more topics. We're gonna get right into Bill Maher. Here we go. Okay. So with Bill Maher, if you guys remember, we had this new segment. We're not doing it right now, but there's a new segment we try to do when people
apologies accepted, long overdue,
right?
Yeah.
And this is where, and we're just gonna prep this, that Bill Maher had somewhat of an apology. He was on with Stephen A. the other week, and he said, somebody owes, right? I didn't really say, but he goes, somebody owes the QAnon people
an apology.
Yeah. And it's like, well, because why? Well, because all this stuff in the Epstein files seemed to check out that they were onto something that whole time with Pizzagate. Okay. And but then Bill Maher has to then take a step back from himself, because he wasn't getting like pushback from anyone there. He wasn't getting pushback from Stephen A. He just did this on his own. He wanted to just be very clear that someone owes them an apology, but they still went a little far with stuff with saying stuff all out loud that they're doing. And then he made some analogy of when I was doing drug dealing and when it was illegal, I would do little codes on my phone about, hey, you want to pick up the CD or whatever the code was about picking up the drugs. You have to. Yeah. And Stephen A., I guess he didn't know enough to push back there and go, Bill, that's exactly what they're doing
with
the pizza. But he didn't draw that connection at all. Okay. So what happened next was, fast forward a few weeks, he doubles down. He goes back on his show, right? And on his show, what we have is this situation where he has Lauren Boebert on, who we know she's been doing some great work in the Epstein file arena. So she's been looking at it, and it's clear that Bill Maher has not been looking at it. He could muster up some sort of half-ass apology for QAnon, but he is not going to look into the pizza. So what happened was Lauren Boebert brought up the pizza with them because he needed to be called out, and he shut this thing down so hard.
I want to see this
so hard. Okay, here we go. Here is Bill Maher having to answer for the literal pizza references in the files. What are you going to say about that?
I apologized to QAnon a couple of weeks ago. I said, when it comes to this Epstein stuff, you had it righter than me. Now, they also believe a lot of real batshit nonsense. But when it comes,
you think it's batshit,
they don't eat babies. Democrats don't eat babies. You think they eat babies?
There is a lot of consumption talk in the stuff. Now, if are there babies? I don't know. No, you can laugh all you want. But, I mean, there is some sick stuff in here that is implying...
But that's not eating babies.
Maybe,
come on.
I'm not saying they're eating babies. I'm saying there is talk of consumption, and it ain't pizza. And I'm not saying that I am QAnon by any means, but... This is deep, dark, satanic, awful, sacrificial.
Okay, I'm going to pause there. Now, she's doing a great job, and she has to keep her composure because she knows the audience is against her because they're a Bill Maher trained audience. But she just did a throwaway at QAnon. I want to be clear. We've talked about this. QAnon is a made-up word this is exactly, it goes right hand in hand with what? With these other names, conspiracy theorists, anti-science, all these anti-Semitic. We know the game plan, the blueprint for that. So she's taking the bait a little on that, and I don't blame her, but just she's saying I'm not Q. This is where you have to justify. Like, I'm not saying I'm QAnon. No, QAnon that's not actually a thing.
Yeah.
It was always people having a problem with children being raped and murdered and being looked at like pizza deliveries, and that was always a thing. It was never extreme. They made up the term QAnon and gave it to them as a name to call them as a bully tactic. So I just want to point that out. But she's certainly doing a good job in this, like, kind of in this enemy territory that she's in right now. All right, we'll keep it going.
And this stuff is gross.
See, this is what I'm saying. Here I am sacrificing myself, saying, you know what, I was wrong, QAnon, and then you don't meet me halfway. You insist they might be eating babies.
I just think there's some questionable stuff.
Here's what it is. QAnon said there's this vast elites around the world conspiracy to, traffic kids and pedophiles, and they were more right than I thought they were. Okay, so that's what I'm giving you. And it wasn't just Prince Andrew in the parlor with the dildo, okay?
I mean, this is a guy. I mean, best case, you say, Bill, you're just one of these what we say, normie.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, you're not ready. I mean, that's the best way we can describe it, but it's worse than that. Bill is not an honest actor here. He's deflecting it, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
He's not really somebody who's just having a hard time like understanding, right? Because his job is to understand. His job is to look at it.
Yeah.
And so he's intentionally saying, I don't want to hear about those references. Dude, yourself. This is why I brought up the Stephen A thing. He said on Stephen A, I know about doing codes. I did it with my drugs. So the fact that you're not looking at these codes and seeing it for what it is, all the emails, all of them.
Yeah.
What are we talking about when we talk about beef jerky? What are we talking about when we say hot dog? What are we talking about pizza? I said earlier, you really think, Bill Maher, do you really think that Jeffrey Epstein is preparing lunch for the richest people on the planet?
You're making pizza and hot dogs.
And you're ordering Domino's.
Yes.
Is that really what you think is happening in these emails?
Yeah. No
that's all. So and then this is just for perspective. You guys have to understand that Bill Maher, he did admit that he didn't believe them before. Well, this isn't 10 years ago. This is almost 10 years ago. This is 2018. Here's a little bit so you guys know where Bill Maher was before he had to acknowledge that the Epstein files existed. This is Bill Maher in 2018 mocking people that had a problem with child rape and torture and murder and eating them. This is how bad he was back then.
Rule conspiracy theories have to go back to what they used to be. Fun little stories we would tell each other when we were high. Space aliens crashed in Roswell. Hitler escaped to Argentina. Elvis is alive and working at the IHOP. That's what conspiracy theories used to be. But now they're the ideology of the Republican Party. Conspiracy theorists used to be called crazy. Now they're called senator.
Fact.
It used to be an unwritten rule of both parties that you can't just make shit up. The old, you're entitled to your own opinion, but not your own facts thing. But that was before Republicans discovered, yes, you can just make shit up. You can have your own facts. In fact, we just pulled a fresh batch out of the oven. And by the oven, I mean our ass. You know, I never liked Rush Limbaugh, but I would take a return to 90s era ditto heads any day, because it turned out that Rush was really just a gateway drug, to which they eventually built up a tolerance and then needed something stronger. That was Glenn Beck, which led to Alex Jones. And now, Republicans, you're the Alex Jones party. There is literally nothing too stupid and conspiratorial that you will not swallow. Hillary running a child sex ring out of a pizza parlor. Sounds right.
So if he had any bit of character or person or principle, which he has zero, absolutely zero. I used to give him more credit and said, he's maybe, right 75% of the time.
Yeah.
No. Not even 50% of the time. I'm so over Bill Maher, because if he were to look into it, like it's very easy to do, he would understand that the entire Hillary running a thing under that was part of the distraction. That was not what people were saying.
Yeah.
That's not what Pizzagate was even about. So you're gonna say, I owe them an apology. eight years later, you're gonna say I owe them an apology, but you're not going to look at the thing that tricked you in the first place.
Yeah.
What do you think? So all that shit he was doing in 2018 is the things that tricked him. Is the Alex Jones is crazy and this, and you're not holding them accountable for the things you should be. You should be holding Alex Jones accountable for the imperialism shit, but not. He had 9/11 right. He had all these things right.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be clear. He's doing this on purpose. He's not just somebody who's having a hard time with it, and that's it. So that's all, guys. I'm glad I didn't get that job with Bill Maher, and I'm happy that I wasn't Kelly that saw Bill Maher live, and that must have been a crazy ass exchange. But hey, I have no interest in this guy even interacting with him for any reason ever again. But you know, whatever. That's it.
I hear you.
Okay, that's that. Can we throw one more in? Do we have time for one more?
Yeah, one more.
Okay. We want to do a update on a little bit of good news here. This is in the We Know. Yeah, let's do this. Let's do this. Okay. Here's what we're gonna do. I know we were talking a lot of harsh realities about Maha and how it's a failed movement, but there's still something to be said from it. I'm gonna play a little bit because I was meaning to do this before on Tuesday's show, but we ran out of time then too.
Yeah.
So let me just grab it from here. Actually, this is I'll play the opening. This is a little Dr. John Campbell. We'll just play a little piece of this. I'll set it up. Okay, I think we're good. Let's see. Here we go. Okay, guys, this is our last segment of the day. Thanks for joining us. And if you're just getting here now, hey, you got here just in time for
John Campbell.
For John Campbell. This would be a good one, guys. I'm Matt Weinglass, Craig Foster-Jardula. Welcome to the Homeless Left. You got here just in time. This is we're starting our 5th hour. We won't get to the 5-hour mark. We promise you that. This is our last segment. Here we go. We call this We Know What It's Not. So here we go. Let's go. Let's do it. Little intro for you guys here.
But the virus stops with every vaccinated person.
But this is a pandemic of the unvaccinated.
The conspiracy theory about this related to vaccine, you're right.
We had to really move at the speed of science.
Doctors are baffled. They're looking into it. They'll get back to us with an answer soon. They just want us to be patient, hang out, don't ask any questions. They know what's best. But while we're waiting for answers of why everybody is having these sudden emergencies, heart attacks, neurological problems, all sorts of myocarditis, just all sorts of cardiovascular issues. It's happening everywhere. What do we do about it? Well, we wait patiently, like they said, and we do this, guys. There's one thing we can be assured of, even though they have no idea what's going on. There's one thing they can tell us for 100% certain, and that is we know what it's not. All right, Pasta. We actually had a little bit of good news. We're not celebrating, but we're saying at least somebody is doing something for the Maha movement. And I don't even think this guy considers himself part of any movement. He's just doing his job as a doctor should. And there just unfortunately hasn't been enough doctors doing their job throughout COVID. If you don't know who I'm talking about, it's Dr. John Campbell. He's been very consistent, very precise, very, I would say reserved, which is good because he didn't get his channel taken down. He just looks at facts. And I think that we have enough news coming out of some of these papers that are being prepared in different parts of the world, particularly in New Zealand. We have doctors actually looking into what? Into white clots. What are white clots? Well, it's been a very, very peculiar time since 2021. These crazy clots, these blood clots have come up out of nowhere and they're appearing everywhere. And nobody that's defending the COVID narrative wants to say or do anything about it. But luckily, there are some doctors like Dr. John Campbell that wants to try and piece this together. So let's listen to a bit of this. And if you guys haven't yet, you should go sign up for John Campbell, subscribe to his channel on YouTube. I cannot believe they have never taken this thing down. But again, I think it's because you'll see this. He's very reserved in the way he speaks. So here we go. Let's have some of this right now. Here we go.
Now, this information has come from reputable sources here. This is the New Zealand doctors' site. This is their press release. Breaking research decodes the mystery of the rubbery white clots. Now, of course, that's quite a bold claim, so we need the evidence, and we do have the evidence here. It's in the form of 3 papers. This is the first paper here. Morphological and histological characteristics of anomalous intravascular casts. Now, there is a bit of terminology here, but I'm not going to do it in this video. So morphology, of course, you know, that just means the shape. The histology is the tissue type that is made up of. And it's characterization of anomalous intravascular casts. And we know this is the case because these casts, these white rubbery clots, follow the shape of the internal blood vessels. They're deposited inside the blood vessels and show the shape of these blood vessels. And we've actually seen pictures of them been taken out of these clots being taken out of blood vessels. So that's the first paper there.
And just to be clear, the reason he's not sharing pictures is because that is how he protects his YouTube channel. The one when you put pictures up, sometimes they do get flagged and they get warnings, and then not enough people see them. So he's well aware of that going in. But you guys know about these pictures. This is what all the morticians and they're looking at this stuff and they're seeing it and they're like, what the hell is going on? But we'll look at some of the work. But there's like 3 papers he goes through. We won't go through all of them. Let's just see this first one he does.
Obviously, we can't do them all in detail today. The second paper here, elemental characterization, says this is about the chemistry, the makeup of them, of anomalous intravascular casts, reveals an abnormal biochemical matrix. And as we'll see, there are some rather strange features of the chemistry of it that make it difficult to explain, although they do put forward some good hypotheses on that. And the third paper is here, proteomic characterization. Of course, proteomics is the protein that it's made up of. Proteomic characterization of anomalous intravascular casts reveals non-kinetical fibrin architecture and impaired fibrinolysis. What this means is non-kinetical basically means it's not in the canon of knowledge. This is new. This is not in the recognized pathology textbooks. And we'll look at the fibrin and the fibrinogen as we go through. So here's the paper that we've seen from the New Zealand doctors, and that's the direct reference for that. It's available in the public domain. So they're saying first time that they've comprehensively characterized the anomalous intravascular casts. And I have been following this story for some time now, and I agree this is the first full characterization that I've seen. In fact, the silence from the pathological and medical journals around the world on this has been quite deafening. Why aren't they talking about this strange new phenomenon and racing to characterize it? It really is quite bizarre. It's almost as if it's been edited out of the mainstream medical journals. Anyway, let's carry on with what they've got here. Commonly reported by embalmers worldwide as strange rubbery white clots. And of course, we have talked to embalmers worldwide, Richard Hirschman in the States, John O'Looney in the United Kingdom. And of course,
I need to get that.
Major Tom Haviland has done a lot of research on this as well. Research significantly funded by New Zealand doctors speaking out with science. Great title. Good for them. Provides definitive analysis that these structures are a previously unrecognized and abnormal form of intravascular clotting. Now, this is consistent with all the embalmers I've talked to and the pathologists. I've talked to doctors and pathologists about this as well, some professors of medicine about this, and they haven't seen these before. These are not normal perimortem clots. These are something new. Basically 2021, they seem to pop up. They seem to.
Okay, so he's throwing that away, but that's the most important part is the timeline. He's talking about 2021. So let's connect the dots. You guys should go and watch this in its entirety. Well, let me bring us up here really quick. Actually, I'll probably, we probably just take it off here in a second, but I'll just say this. Dr. John Campbell, what he's doing is he's reporting these papers that have come out, connecting the dots on this. So I'm just going to sum it up for you guys. The point is, actually, let's remove that. That's fine. We'll just come up here, right there. Okay. The point is that on the timeline, we're seeing this white clot mystery that has appeared since 2021. We all know what happened in 2021. And this is a global phenomenon. This is not just in New Zealand. These New Zealand doctors were able to put these papers together and trying to connect the dots. And when he talked about the protein, he's talking about the spike protein. Mm-hmm. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And it's creating these clots, and then the silence from the medical community. And if you guys know anyone, we certainly do. We're dealing with this right now. We're dealing with my father-in-law right now, dealing with these clots, and the doctors are scratching their heads. And it's not a joke. When we tell you guys we know what it's not, that's what they're saying by not bringing that up.
Yeah.
There's specialist doctors gathered together trying to figure out what the hell is happening. And this is the thing they're not talking about. And that is a problem. And so if you guys know that you have family members also dealing with this, or friends or colleagues or people, this conversation needs to happen. Well, how does it happen? If they're not willing to have the conversation, what do? Do you go in, you say, hey, Can we talk about the vaccine? They're going to look at you like that's not a thing. So what can we do, Craig? I actually have a solution here for people that don't know what to do when they recognize there's a problem and their trusted doctors are not talking to them about it. We don't know where these clots are coming from. We don't know where they're coming from. They just started in 2021, but we have no idea. Well, here's what you can do. And they do have this available, and they're not going to, they won't scoff at this, but it's called a D-dimer test. Okay. A D-dimer test. This is the test and why they do it. And they've been doing this before COVID. So this is a thing. It's a standard procedure. You're trying to avoid, death from clotting. And so this is when you do it. If you have deep vein thrombosis, you can see it works its way up. Pulmonary embolism, a stroke. These are worse. These are elevated range. If you go down the elevated range, and then you get, if there's an active blood clot. So the normal range is supposed to be those numbers there, the 0.5 or less. That's a normal range. An elevated range is more than 0.5. So they can provide these tests to you. Here's a clip. This is important because I know we don't talk about solutions sometimes. Sometimes we just want to get information out to people, and we know that people are dealing with this in their personal lives. Again, we're dealing with this right now. It's horrible. It's horrible to not have an honest discussion about this when we should be. So the D-dimer test. Here's a testimony video from a woman. I pay attention because this was actually inspiring to hear because she's being really effing honest about what you can do, being proactive on your own, and you don't have to wait for your doctor to do the right thing. You can do it yourself. Here we go.
Tell me about your friend who's had similar troubles.
Okay, so after this had happened to me, I saw another local mum from Curl who had posted that she was feeling like was having heart attack. She's a single mother. She'd been taken to hospital 5 times in an ambulance, and every single time they told her she had anxiety and she had to go home. Anyway, when I saw the post, I contacted her. I took her. We went and saw a friend of mine who's doing a private study and doing your live blood analysis to see if your blood is sticking together. He's testing people that have had the vaccine and who have not. And the people that have not had it, their blood is like not sticking together, and the people that have had it, all of their blood sticking together pretty much. So
it's called rule-outing, I believe.
Yeah, rule-outing. But what happens over time, so this thing is over time. It might not happen the first year or the second year or the third year, but the fourth year, by the time they all stick together, you'll suddenly die or you'll have a stroke or a heart attack. That's why people are dying suddenly and without drawing it back, because it takes a long time to accumulate together.
So even
I know it sounds crazy.
Even 4 years later, it takes that length of time for the blood to rule out sufficiently to cause such an issue.
And if some people know how to clear it, there's basic supplements you can get from your naturopath to help you clear it. But anyway, in this girl's incident, when she finally went back to hospital and she said, I think I've got blood clots, I've had Pfizer, they said, no, you couldn't possibly, Pfizer doesn't cause blood clots, that was something else. Anyway, so she acted and she dropped to the ground and pretended to faint, and so they did a D-dimer test. You have to ask for a D-dimer. It measures your blood clotting, and then she had x-rays and she had 3 blood clots in her lungs and could have died at any minute. So if you're having any of these episodes,
insist on the
D-dimer.
What good advice.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a new one we haven't heard before. That they will not treat you if you're not presenting anything wrong. And I didn't really think about how serious that was, because we have so many people with ailments, with problems. And like I said, we're dealing with it in our family right now, where the doctors will do a D-dimer test if you are showing the symptoms. They don't have a problem. So I just want to be clear. Don't be afraid to ask for that if you're already having problems. But what she's saying is that if you're just coming in and saying, I'm having a thing, and they're not taking you seriously, that's when they will send you home and say, no, you're fine. You're just anxiety. You're just anxiety. So she says, fake a like a fainting, and then they might then check you out, find out that you had these blood clots or whatever building up, and they had no other way to know, because they're not going to just do that test. They're not doing any test. The only test they were willing to do, what was the test they were willing to do?
COVID test.
PCR. That's all. That's the only thing they cared to do. That's all they cared to do. They don't want to look for anything else. So you have to make this happen yourself. And then I would leave it with this, because we've talked about this part before, and you guys don't forget how important your own looking after your own health is. And we're talking about intermittent fasting. We're talking about vitamin D and zinc and getting sun and getting exercise and trying to avoid these chemical, just overloaded foods, pesticides, all this stuff, like just less of that. I would say intermittent fasting is one of the best things you can do to cleanse yourself, but you can get this test if you want. If you feel pushback from your doctor, do what this woman said her friend did, and that's fake the fainting, and then maybe they'll give you the test. If they discover in the D-dimer test that you're having clotting, they will then take you seriously, and they don't even have to admit what happened or how you got it. The point is, if you have it, you need to get treated immediately. And that's for everyone. That's for everyone. It doesn't matter how many shots you had or didn't. Again, I should clarify, the amount of shots you had shouldn't have anything to do with this. Those are two separate discussions, right? Right, Craig? Because we know what it's not. So, we don't want to tell you why you're having a problem, but we do want to know that we want you to know that you can treat it. And there's ways you can treat that, and there's ways they won't tell you. Like not eating for a while is actually a good thing to do.
Gotcha.
All right. So that should do it. Any last final thoughts?
No, that's a long enough show to do. Any final thoughts? Let's be done.
He's over it. That's good. Well,
4.5 hours is long enough.
We did the 4.5. Now I remember you and I used to do the 5-hour mark together. We used to
special shows. Yeah,
those were special. Sometimes we were doing.
We had 4 different guests on those things. So
all
right. So what else do we got?
That's it. We're gonna go out. We'll still thank you guys for tuning in today to the Homeless Left. Don't forget to subscribe to our channels, and we got a bunch of channels. We got THL Presents on YouTube, right? We got the let me throw that one up there. The THL Presents, and then we have that's this one. And if you don't know that one yet, now you know. The Rumble channel, which has been going strong. They haven't taken this one down, which is great. The Homeless Left on Rumble, very cool. And then with you, we have Truthwire. For sure. Don't forget to follow Truthwire.
And at Yo Pasta on Twitter. So
at Yo Pasta on Twitter. And I think I plugged that when we did the opening. We put the Craig Pasta Jardula, and I put Yo Pasta right under so people can see that.
I think so too. So
yeah, guys. Thanks for being part of independent media and helping us keep the keep these conversations going. And when possible, we go to the story, which is very cool. We can do that a lot, and we know Pasta likes to get boots on the ground, as we do as well. So we'll see you guys back here next Tuesday, Thursday, for the next Homeless Left show. We're gonna leave you with this. This is fun. This one's fun. I have to give a little credit, a little shout out to Kelly Lane for throwing this one over to me. This is a fun one. It's called A Song for Ice, and I don't think it's copyright protected. I think we'll be good on the thing.
All right.
If it's not, I'll cut it out. I told her that. I don't know if she's like, no. He wants people to share it out. It's a nice little song he wrote about ice, and I think that we need more music right now that expresses the time we're in and challenges power, because we just don't get too much of it these days. We just don't get too much music that actually challenges power. So here it is, A Song for Ice. We'll try to throw up a couple of your comments on the way out. I'm Matt Weinglass. This is Craig Pasta Jardula, Pasta to go. And remember, guys, always go out in the world with courage, with conviction, and above all else, principle. Power to the people and free Palestine. We're out.
There you go.
Taught him how to kill on the streets of Iraq, and he'd been missing that job since he came back. And when he found a chance for a domestic tour, he thought he would re-enlist. He saw a 37-year-old mother of 3, and he shot her in the face in her SUV. And by way of explanation said, "What a fucking bitch." He's a bona fide country white. He's a genuine American hero. He wears a mask and snatches us inside our homes and offices. He's a genuine American hero. Well, after My Lai, Guantanamo, and Abu Ghraib, he got used to putting people into unmarked graves, and the question why was unpatriotic slander. And now this old bald eagle's gone blind too. Can't see his chickens coming home to roost. What's good for the goose is good for the propaganda. He's a bona fide country white. He's a genuine American hero. faith and watches us inside our homes and offices. He's a genuine American hero. So if you see a masked and marauding man who's chiseled tall and perfectly tan, well, you can bow your head and clap your hands and you can praise the Lord, we've got him. 'Cause if your neighbor squeals and your grandma gripes and your dad and sister show their stripes, you can rest easy tonight, but he won't stop until he's shot him. He's a bona fide countrywide. He's a genuine American hero. Yes, he wears a mask and watches us inside our homes and offices. He's a genuine American hero, bona fide